Hey, how's it going? It's JPChivalry going live with Umineko When They Cry. Episode 2, The Turn of the Witch. I totally remember what happened last time. Man, it's bad that we take these breaks. That's fine. I'm sure when we play it again, we'll pick up where we left off. But yeah. So I played Curse of the Dead Gods yesterday, finished the Outriders demo, which is kind of short. Thought it was supposed to be 6 hours long, but that was like, not even. Well, because we also didn't do the side quests, right? I guess that'll contribute. But, yeah, played Curse of the Dead Gods, which was fun. Definitely, I feel like it needs more moves. Because it only has like the 3 attacks, the charge attack, the regular combo. Yeah, I guess you got your offhand combo as well. And then, what else can you do? I guess the whole thing is the perfect parry, perfect dodge. It's more about that, I suppose. But that's fun. I got it. I bought it. It's in my library. For the future. I think, well, I'll probably revisit it when all the content updates for it are done. That'll probably be for the best, yeah. But yeah. And then we raged at Apex Legends. And then, yeah, here we are. Definitely can't play games past midnight. Or near midnight. That ruins the sleep schedule. So, anyways, we're fine. I think I guess we'll see how far we can get and what things are leading up to. Because I also have to keep in mind that we have the tea party and then the other tea party to do. Also, is the mic plugged in? It is, right? Cool. Would have been embarrassing if it wasn't. Yeah. So last we left off, I guess we started round 2. So that led into the first murders, the second murders, the text in red, the absolute truth, and now we just go from here. I want to say, I didn't check the VOD, but I want to say that we're at 5:30 p.m. or 7 p.m. It's like, it seemed like most of the things took place in the morning that time. But it was shocking that it was like back to back. So I guess once it starts, it just starts. I feel like that's against the rules. But maybe they don't have rules. Anyways. Let's solve the mystery. Still haven't done the BTTV FFC, but it's fine. So what is up with my keyboard? Hello? Okay. Alright, let's get this started. Start. Load. No. Go back. There we go. Turn of the Golden Witch. 2:46 p.m. I think that was an 8-hour stream, right? Yeah. So where did we leave off of? And me, I denied the witch, but I wasn't prepared to losing. He was probably the one who seemed to be fighting the most, and yet the one who was most separated from reality. Okay. Alright. Let's move the mouse. Get that there. Okay. With Jessica's death, it became certain that the culprit was hiding somewhere nearby, and that they'd come for our lives if they had a chance. According to Genji-san, when tomorrow morning comes, the boat should arrive. The boat had a radio. We'd probably be able to contact the police directly with that. All of us gathered in the parlor and decided to wait quietly until tomorrow. I proposed that we should search throughout the mansion for clues about the culprit, but Aunt Rosa rejected that, saying that if we managed to corner the culprit, or maybe provoke them, it might lead to a third murder. That was probably the right thing to do. If a bunch of amateurs like us investigated, there's no way we'd find anything. It would be wisest to focus on protecting ourselves without doing anything unnecessary, and leave it to the police starting tomorrow. We'd been tense at the beginning, but other than Aunt Rosa, most of us had spent all morning watching TV and getting bored, so our sense of danger had faded considerably. When we thought about it, yes, 6 adults certainly had been killed together in the first murder, but that made it seem like some backhanded method like poison had been used. And for the second murder, we figured those 2 became sacrifices because they'd been unfortunately isolated from the rest of us. From this, it was possible to imagine that the culprit wasn't a large number of adults, and that they wouldn't be capable of killing this large group gathered in the parlor all at once. Right now, in this parlor, there's George and Iki and me, Maria, Aunt Rosa, Genji-san, Goda-san, Shannon-san, Kumasawa-san, and then Dr. Nanjo, for a total of 9 people. Furthermore, Aunt Rosa was even armed with a gun. Kinzo's alive, right? Did the mouse move? No, okay. Yeah, Kinzo's alive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, right, Beatrice. Counting Beatrice. Furthermore, Aunt Rosa was even armed with a gun. Surely with this many people staying in this room, they wouldn't be able to touch us easily. That feeling of security, along with the passage of time, allowed us to recover from the shock of that morning bit by bit. By the way, lunchtime had just ended for us. However, it had been a canned food lunch after a far cry from the dinner last night that Goda-san had skillfully made for us. Aunt Rosa also suspected that poison may have been used in the first murder, so we probably couldn't deny the possibility that the culprit had snuck into the kitchen during all that confusion in the morning and mixed poison in with the ingredients there. Aunt Rosa gave orders to all of us saying that until the police came, we mustn't put anything into our mouths except safe things like canned food. As a cook, Goda-san must have felt very let down. Apparently eager to display his skill anyway, he said he at least wanted to grab some plates and arrange the canned food on them. At first, Aunt Rosa had been reluctant, examining each one of the plates that were brought, but she hadn't been able to find anything to complain about. And Goda's chef's pick canned food lunch combo was born. Goda-san said something about taste being savored not just with the tongue, but with the eyes as well. Presentation. I see. It's the same canned food we ate for breakfast, but it feels like something completely different. Ooh, Battler. Look. This is the wolves and sheep puzzle. Ooh. As I was sitting... Last time they mentioned the wolves and sheep puzzle, they had a little jingle. But nothing to, look into it. But it's the one where you have wolves and sheep on one side and you gotta carry them across, but then and then you have a vegetable, I think, right? Because if you leave the sheep with the vegetable, the sheep's gonna eat the vegetable, and then you're out of vegetables. So then... Because you can only carry 2 things across, right? How do you solve that? It's wolf and vegetable. Then you leave the vegetable on the right. Right? Or no? I don't know. We'll figure it out. As I was sitting lazily on the sofa with no desire to watch TV, Maria came over, pulled a picture book out of her handbag, and held it out to me. What's that book? Wolves and Sheep Puzzle? Let's see. Wolves and Sheep Puzzle. It was a phrase that Aunt Rosa had said this morning when we'd gone to call on Jessica. At the time, I hadn't known what it meant, and right after that was that uproar when Jessica's corpse was found, so I'd forgotten about it completely. I'm thinking about last session's events. It's like I want to see the anime, but apparently the anime is pretty bad, so... I guess not. I guess I have to wait for a better adaptation. The book that Maria held out to me looked like a foreign picture book or something that had been translated. When I opened it, I realized that it was a book stuffed with riddles. Ooh. So you have a few wolves and a few sheep, okay? The puzzle is how you take them to the other side using one boat. I've heard of games with rules like that. So this is a version with wolves and sheep? It was a very simple puzzle, passed on from long ago. Let's try posing a question. On the right bank, there are 2 wolves and 2 sheep. There's a boat that as many as 2 animals can ride on. Using it, you have to move all 4 of them to the opposite left bank. That's the puzzle. Okay. There are 2 rules. The first is regarding the boat. Even a single wolf or a single sheep can paddle it, but it can only hold 2 animals. The second rule is regarding the wolves. When they are greater in number than the sheep in any location, they attack the sheep and it's game over. Oh, that's way different. For example, at the start of the game, let's say the 2 sheep get in the boat and go to the other side. Then one sheep gets off and the other goes back to the first bank. When it does, there are 2 wolves on the first bank, and a single sheep returns there. When that happens, the number of wolves is greater, so the sheep is attacked and it's game over. On either bank or even boat, there must never be more wolves than sheep. You've got to shuttle them all across under these conditions. By the way, the right answer is to move both wolves to the opposite bank in the first turn. Then 1 wolf comes back. On the second turn, you move 2 sheep to the opposite bank. Then 1 wolf comes back. Then on the third turn, you put that last wolf that was on the right bank on the boat across to the opposite bank. Congratulations, transport successful. Part way, there may be the same number of wolves and sheep in the boat, or on either side, but that isn't the problem. You only lose when the number of wolves is greater. This book uses wolves and sheep as an example, but lots of people probably know of this game using different characters. Yay. Looked like Maria wanted to test whether I too could solve the puzzles she knew how to solve. She kept showing me different pages saying, solve this one and this one's hard. So, what was happening when Aunt Rosa first mentioned this puzzle? That's right. When we decided to go and get Jessica, we talked about how many men should go. And Aunt Rosa mentioned the wolves and sheep puzzle, saying we should all go together. Wait a sec. That could only mean one thing. Aunt Rosa was saying that there was a wolf among us. So was she thinking that we'd be safe if the number of wolves and sheep was in balance? That the wolves would bear the fangs if the situation changed? At the time we found our parents' corpses, Aunt Rosa already suspected that the servants might be wolves. She'd sniffed out the possibility that, while she didn't know whether it was all of them or some of them, there were wolves hiding among them. That's no surprise. That murder scene was very elaborate. It's easy to imagine that there were multiple culprits. And because she reached that conclusion, when we went to the Jessica's room and learned that Jessica had been killed after being alone with the servant Cannon, it isn't hard to imagine why Aunt Rosa suspected the servant so persistently. Thinking back to Among Us and how I don't like it. You servants, Goda-san is going to the kitchen to clean dishes. I like it for playing the minigames. I don't like it for proving my case. Just in case, would you please all go with him? My apologies, everyone. Let us go as a group. Shannon, Kumasawa, we are going. Yes, coming. Ho 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 ho. Well then, George-san, excuse me for now. Yes, take care. Aunt Rosa, could I go as well? I'm sorry, but would you remain here, George-kun? There's something I want to talk to you about. Is that so? Sorry, Shannon. Anyway, take care. Don't be alone. Yes. I'm sorry, Dr. Nanjo. I wanted to consult you about something. Yes, what could that be? The servants put the dishes in empty cans on the serving cart and started to head out into the corridor. Behind them, Aunt Rosa was talking to Dr. Nanjo about something in a small voice. Understood. I will go. Yes, I'm counting on you. Dr. Nanjo closed the book he had been reading, rose from the sofa, and followed after the servants. Aunt Rosa stuck her head out into the hallway, and after seeing that they were completely out of sight, she closed the door and spoke. Listen up, everyone. With that, everyone here is an Ushiramiya. Yes, that's true. So you're saying that you've chased out all of the wolves, Aunt Rosa. With that one sentence, Aunt Rosa's gaze grew sharp. Apparently, she had picked up on the sarcasm. She laughed lightly. Your mind sure works fast, Battler-kun. I like clever kids. It means there's less to explain. Ooh, Battler's smart? Can you solve this? Page 64 is hard. Ooh. Maria, go watch TV for a bit. Mama wants to talk with Battler-kun and George-kun. Ooh. Aunt Rosa, I heard about the puzzle from Battler-kun. I don't think it's wrong to be on our guards, but I also think there's such a thing as being too suspicious. Whether the real culprit is Beatrice or not, there is reason for us to suspect that the servants are in on it. In the first murder, where Anisan and the others were killed, they were treated very brutally, right? Did that look like something that could have been done alone? Maybe the mystery guest Beatrice-sama worked all night and did it all. What about the master key in the door to Jessica's room? Isn't that proof that one of the servants was involved? Only the master key could have locked the door to Jessica's room. So we can only suppose that one of the servants did it. No. Wait. Spin the chessboard around. That's strange, Aunt Rosa. After killing Jessica, why would the culprit go to all the trouble of locking the door? The fact that it was locked made it inevitable that the owners of the master keys would be suspected. There was no reason for them to go to all the trouble of locking the door. That's right. It's just as Battler-kun says. There was no need for them to go to all the trouble of making themselves look suspicious. Yes, that's an interesting thought. I'm gonna move the mic so you'll hear a noise. Okay. It's because it's all scuffed with the wires. I guess maybe it's fine. Yes, that's an interesting thought. Of course I also thought that. If that's the case, then the person who locked it wanted to cast suspicion on the servants and locked it without a master key. But that's impossible. Oh yeah, we're up to like 81 impossibles. Right? That's right. If there existed some trick that could lock that door without a master key, that would make this a great disguise for casting doubt on the servants. The culprit's goal was for us to isolate ourselves from the group so they could attack us one by one. This trick would also be effective at giving rise to paranoia. But there is no way to lock that door without using a master key. How can you be sure there's no way to lock that door without a master key? Isn't that a devil's proof, like Rudolph Nissan was talking about earlier? Maybe it was locked by some method we can't think of. Even if we can't think of a way, we can't deny the possibility of some unknown trick being used. That's true too, I guess. Didn't Beatrice say that no tricks? So is that it? No smoke without fire again? I don't know the practical details of the trick, but I have a general idea. My apologies, but if we make the assumption that Cannon-kun was the culprit, it can be explained extremely easily, even as to why there was no corpse. Huh? But Cannon-kun didn't have a master key, right? Putting aside the other servants, at least Cannon-kun shouldn't have been able to lock the door. I see. So that's why he told us to search in the closet and everywhere else after we entered Jessica's room. Aunt Rosa, your mind works faster than I would have guessed from how you normally act. The brain speed of a little sister is always the big sister's -1. Is that right? Right now, there's no one I need to worry about offending, which is certainly a relief. George and Nikki realized she was referring to Aunt Ava. She seemed a little uncertain about how she should take that sarcasm. I'm sorry. Could you explain it so even I can understand? Cannon-kun's master key was in Jessica Chan's pocket, closed up inside a closed room. After the doors locked, it should have been impossible, to put it in her pocket from outside the room, no matter what trick he used. That's not it, Aniki. If it was done the way Aunt Rose is thinking of, this trick could only be used by Canning-kun. Plus, the door could be locked without using the key, while the master key was still in Jessica's pocket. And it would also result in his corpse disappearing. How? How could he lock the door without a key? It's simple. George-kun, when you return home, you lock the door, right? You twist the knob, click, and you're done, right? Huh? Could it be? No, but... Canning-kun was nowhere to be found. Looks like you've got it, Aniki. That's what Aunt Rosa was searching the room for. She was searching for Canning-kun, who had locked the door from the inside and stuck the key in Jessica's pocket, before hiding somewhere, waiting for us to walk right past him. It was a simplest kind of closed room trick. It meant him hiding inside the closed room after the murder was committed. Then all he had to do was get out after those who discovered the body left, and the closed room murder would work perfectly. When we searched that room, we didn't find anything, but for all we know, that room might have had a hidden passage that only the servants know about. We don't know where such a thing might have been hidden, but if we assume there was such a passage, we can conclude that it was impossible for everyone but him. Okay, Beatrice, what do you got? Well, about that line of reasoning. Thought of that too at the very beginning. It's the kind of reasoning I hate most, so I wanted to destroy it right at the start. Kaka. Kennen was killed in this room, right? Kako, right. You apparently suspected that Kennen was the culprit, so you made... I wanted to do, like, Shinobu's Kakas, but... just to shorten the cackles, but let's just keep it cackle. You apparently suspected that Kennen was the culprit, so you made me repeat this to destroy that possibility right off the bat. Yes, I understand. Cackle. So this is what I thought next. I made a theory where there were actually 3 people in that room. Jessica and Canning-kun were victims, and the culprit, I guess Beatrice, was also there with them. I want to make it the human me who committed the crime without using magic. I see. A bizarre theory that suits you perfectly. Giggle. I guess that you killed those 2, then locked the door from the inside. You carried Canning-kun's corpse away using some secret method that normal people wouldn't notice. In other words, you used a secret door to escape. Thinking about it, that fight with Cannon and the servant, the bull one, the minotaur looking one, it kind of looked familiar. I don't know why. But you told me it in red. You said no kind of hidden door existed in that room. Indeed. There can exist no secret passages that you all are not aware of. Was it Knox who said it, or was it Van Dyne? It seems that in mystery novels, there must never be hidden passages. I simply follow that etiquette. So even without having to thoroughly search the room, a famous detective could conclude that no secret passages exist. Cackle. Humans playing detective have it so easy. Damn you, talking so big. Thanks. Thanks to the mighty witch being so diplomatic, I get to conclude that the room has no hidden doors without searching the whole thing. Indeed, there are no hidden doors in this room. There is no way to get in or out other than the door and the windows. Which means that the theory Aunt Rose is so confident in is wrong. Also, annoyingly, it's impossible to disprove her theory. If you, the witch, say there are no hidden doors in red, then it's settled. However, no matter how much a human like me tries to argue against her, Aunt Rosa probably won't accept it. Humans can't prove there's no hidden door. It's devil's proof. Damn. Sure is convenient being a witch. No way! To call Canning-kun the culprit because of a hidden door we don't even know exists. I can't accept that. If you can't accept it, then find me a different theory that's more convincing. There is none. I've been thinking this whole time. There's no other option. George-kun, you and Shannon are close, right? I imagine that's why you find it so hard to accept that all the servants are culprits. Even I don't want to believe that Shan Chen is in league with the culprit. But whether they're all in it together or not, there's definitely a culprit, or maybe an accomplice in that group. That point alone is something you absolutely need to understand. If you guess there are wolves besides Cancun, does that mean the uproar you caused by accusing Cancun in Jessica's room was to gauge the reactions of the other servants? Hey JP, how's it going? Hey Elfie. It's going well. Just enjoying the story. It's a fun murder mystery. I have no idea how this is all playing out. Yes, that's right. And as a result, I began to suspect them even more. There certainly is a wolf among the servants. Certainly. And just like in the wolves and sheep puzzle, while they may be docile most of the time, they'll surely attack if they get the chance. Got any theories cooking up? I have, like, well, I mean, in the story they said don't suspect anyone unless you have proof. I have no proof. To me, the suspicious ones are Goda and I don't know. Goda for sure. Goda seems sus. Just because he was the only one that was like behind Jessica and Ken for that one. Because I certainly didn't like literally all the way through the question arcs. Because you certainly didn't? Or didn't have theories? Or... Because yeah, I have no idea. I'm glad I thought of the closed room with the Halloween party. Like that one made sense to me. But I mean that's the first one, so it's kind of easy, I guess. But this one I have no idea. It'd be easy for me to suspect Goda, but I have no proof. That was kind of weirdly worded. I mean that I didn't have any theories at all. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I have nothing. I am curious though. This is it's tough. Apparently, people have solved the riddle by the end of episode 3, so I'll give that one a shot. But I have to get there first. Jessica-chan was alone in sheep on the boat. In Rio's version of the puzzle, we may not attack when there's an equal number of wolves and sheep, but our puzzle is different. Depending on the situation and number of people, they'll attack even if there's a balance. Just like when Jessica-chan was killed. Then there's something that makes me mad. If that's true, then when you made Shannon go to the kitchen, you put her in a dangerous situation, didn't you? We should go to the kitchen right now too. No matter who may or may not be the wolf, be a wolf. If staying together means we remain in balance, I think we should keep it that way. Shannon-chan went to see father along with Genji-san. At that time, she was supposedly isolated, but she wasn't killed. Was it because Genji-san wasn't a wolf either? Wrong. It's because they were both wolves. Shannon isn't the kind of person who would take part in a crime. Can't let a comment like that slide, not even from you, Aunt Rosa. I demand that you take back what you just said. I hate saying this in front of Aniki, but the way you're arguing feels just like something Aunt Ava might say. It's like you're automatically assuming that you're right, unless we can counter your argument. Looks like you can't fight against your own blood after all, Aunt Rosa. Even I can't think of myself as very praiseworthy right now. But guess what? I'm a mother. I'd become even a demon to protect Maria's safety. I really wish I could shut myself away somewhere alone with her. But I also plan to act as a mother to you two. Right now, you're practically my children. Even if you aren't my own, I won't forsake you. No matter what. Yeah, but I don't want Aunt Rosa as a mother, though. Well, thanks for that. I just wanted to warn you not to be careless, as your mother. Stay where I can see you at all times. I will protect you. And at the same time, you'll be observing us to make sure we aren't wolves. Yeah, thanks a lot for that. Can you, Aunt Rosa, prove that you aren't a wolf yourself? Yes, I can. That's a quick answer. How? With this. This is my proof. Rosa lifted her gun and pointed the barrel at me. You don't point guns at people unless you intend to kill. But it was only for an instant. She immediately lowered the gun, laughing impishly. But to me, the time I spent staring down the barrel of that gun felt like an eternity. How does that gun prove that you aren't the culprit, Aunt Rosa? Think about it. What if I were the culprit? Would I really give up the once-in-a-lifetime chance I got when the servants left? I could just shoot you, bang, and think of a fitting excuse later. Something like Beatrice appeared outside the window and started shooting at us. I just need to leave 2 empty cartridges on the ground and say I fired back at her twice. Whoa, Aunt Rosa. You don't go pulling a O.J. Simpson there. Well, that's a crazily violent way to argue it, but it does make sense. Ehehe. There's something Kraus and Nissan used to say all the time long ago. Might is right. Maybe that really is true. I'm sorry, you two. I've somewhat lost my composure after all the crimes since this morning. You know how I normally am, so I must seem desperate and a bit short-tempered right now. But please understand, I want to protect you from a malicious culprit. I'll become a demon to do that. That's all there is to it. I'm sorry for saying something that's angered you. Battler-kun, George-kun, let's make up. An unsatisfied expression rose to George and Iki's face. He probably couldn't forgive the damage on the Shen's honor. What about me? Several bits of circumstantial evidence hinted at the servants' participation. I didn't want to believe that one of them was the culprit, or possibly colluding with the culprit. But in our current situation, that was a little more than wishful thinking. Whom should I believe? In the first place, who is the culprit? Are there accomplices? And if so, how many? It seems to have only been suspecting the people we know. I quickly forgot that 19th person. The guest, Beatrice, who arrived yesterday and boldly claimed to be the Golden Witch. In fact, I still haven't seen her face. I heard she greatly resembled the witch in that portrait. But since I haven't seen her directly, no matter how hard I try, it doesn't really feel to me like a 19th person is on this island. So, I've been subconsciously hallucinating that the culprit's one of the 18. Damn it. Come out, Beatrice. If you're the bad guy, then act like the bad guy and show yourself, laughing in a high-pitched voice and mocking us. Just like a bad guy in one of those dramas who, even when they're exposed as the culprit, aggressively says, "Where's your proof?" Cackle, 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 cackle. Where's your proof? Shut up. No more talking. Cackle. Hey, Banana Sean. Go. How's it going? There were 5 humans in the kitchen, but it was very quiet, filled only with the sound of the rain. It was only accented by the sound of Shannon and Kumasawa washing the dishes. Goda was using leftovers from breakfast and lunch as ingredients for a soup. Rosa had suspected that poison might have been added to the food, so they decided to eat canned goods, but it hadn't been too satisfying. But Goda thought she was being too cautious. So, he was spontaneously creating a soup to be served only to those who wanted some. Shannon and Kumasawa were washing the dishes that the food had been arranged on. On the inside, they thought maybe Goda should wash them, since he'd been the one who'd wanted the food arranged on plates in the first place. But they left their complaints unsaid for the time being. Genji and Nanjo were facing each other across a crude chess set that had many years of experience. The game had still only just begun, and because the opening game of these experienced players had been owned to perfection, it looked like a ceremony where they just moved specific pieces in a specified order. That's a nice aroma. Who wouldn't get this from canned food? It was made only from sealed ingredients, so there won't be any poison mixed in. I'm making enough for everybody, so please, eat. Of course, I'll also taste for poison. Please feel secure and eat. It really is a nice aroma. Goda-san, the food you cook really is delicious. Being able to create delicious food when you buy delicious ingredients is hardly special. My master taught me that a true cook must perfect their ability to make delicious food from whatever is on hand. That was a good master. Thanks to him, it looks like we'll get to enjoy some truly delicious soup. Although it is a shame that it was made from ingredients intended for all family members to eat. I'm sure Rosa-san is tired after everything that happened this morning. It is only natural. Thanks to that, we get to drink some soup made from delicious ingredients. Rosa had fervently warned everyone that they didn't understand the danger they were in, and that they must assume that poison was mixed in with the food. The mood at the time had led them to agree, but hunger wasn't something that could be swayed by a momentary emotion like that. Ironically, we've ended up with the soup that we normally wouldn't be able to savor. If possible, I would like to serve it to everyone in the parlor, but seeing that it would violate Rosa-san's instructions, you had best give up on the idea. It's enough that only those who want to eat it do so. Skillfully taking a breather when no one's looking is also an important skill for a servant, isn't it? When Kumisawa cackled, Shannon and Goda laughed too. It seemed that in this space, where only their fellow servants were gathered, they could relax quite a bit. Shannon didn't like Goda's occasional dishonesty, but she knew there was no falsehood in his childish smile when he cooked, nor in his desire for people to enjoy his food. So even though it was a little aggravating to be made to wash the dishes, she couldn't really hate him. However, they couldn't have dreamed that Rosa was calling them wolves in the parlor at exactly the same moment they were spending their time peacefully like this. Oh. At that time, several of the servants heard a sound like something being dragged, and then a thump. It seemed like the sound made by a servant outside the back door when they were carrying a mountain of trash bags on a rainy day. Or maybe when a servant was returning from work wearing a raincoat. So at first, that sound didn't seem like anything out of the ordinary to any of them, but they soon realized. Right now, everyone was either in the kitchen or in the parlor, so who could possibly be at the back door? Kinzo! As the servants all looked at each other, they checked to make sure that each one of them knew what that sound meant. Who could it be? Servants knew the mansion's layout well, so they understood how incomprehensible it would be for someone from the parlor to actually go outside in this typhoon. Go all the way around, come up to this back door. Then, was it Kinzo? They couldn't imagine that Kinzo, who never left his study, would dash out in the middle of this typhoon and come to the back of the house, where only low-caste people ever entered or exited. That wasn't our imagination, was it? Whoa. Shannon and Kumasawa drew close together, fearfully looking at the back door. Who is it? As Goda fearfully approached the back door, he called out, and his eyes flashed towards the butcher's knife that sat in the nearby sink. Didn't pick it up yet, because there was still a possibility that this was a member of the family. However, that possibility was impossible. There was no response from across the door to Goda's initial question. Maybe his voice had been so quiet that it hadn't reached through all the wind and rain outside. Genji-san. Yes. Stand back. Dr. Nanjo and the women. Who in the world could it be? Genji took a knife with a classical design from a stationary box placed near the chest set. It was something to be used instead of a paper knife to open envelopes for stalemates or delivery and bills. Words are hard, but it was still a knife, so the blade on it could injure someone. Genji hid it in his sleeve with a well-practiced motion. Then he approached the back door himself, giving Goda a silent nod. Goda cautiously approached the back door and slowly started to open it. Oh boy. The shadow of a person suddenly shuffled into sight, landed on its knees, and fell over. Goda fell backwards onto his backside and couldn't get up. That human shadow was soaked with rain, smeared with mud, and drenched with blood. Canon-kun? Canon-kun! Kennen, are you alright? Dr. Nanjo. It was Kennen. Really? His breath was feeble, and the puddles of mud he left were quickly drenched bright red. When Nanjo held him and turned him face up, there was a deep, gruesome wound right in the center of his chest, as though he'd been stabbed there by a spear or something. Maybe we shouldn't believe this. Even now, deep red blood poured out from there. This is horrible. What shall we do? Get a first aid kit? A first aid kit? Kennen-kun, place your hand against the wound. Please, push firmly. Let's carry him to the bed in the servant room. Everyone, please, lend a hand. Come now, Kennen-san. Please, hang in there a little longer. Hang in there. It'll be okay. Just don't take your hand from the wound. At any rate, let us carry him to the servant room. Kumasawa, inform Rosa-sama that we have found Kennen. Wait, not Rosa-sama. Please wait. Kennen-san said not Rosa-sama. What do you mean, Kennen-kun? This is no time for that. Let us quickly carry him to the servant room. Kumasawa, do not tell Rosa-sama yet. We will do it after we hear the situation from Kennen. Yes. Eek. He had told them not to tell Rosa right after appearing in this state. This could only mean something very disquieting. An eerie anxiety rose to their faces. I thought Rosa was in the chapel at the time. Come now, everyone. Let's hurry and carry him. Quickly, quickly. I guess it would explain that scene with everyone in the chapel, and then she was there. This is weird. Kennen's wound was unbelievably deep, and judging from Nanjo's pale face, it was a miracle that he was still conscious. This is horrible. He appears to have been stabbed by something like a spear. If it hasn't reached the lungs, I might be able to do something. At any rate, we must stop the bleeding. No matter how much Nanjo tried to wipe off that gushing deep red blood, he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He couldn't wipe it all away. Each time, the wound was aggravated, causing Kennen to cry in anguish. Kennen-kun, 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 hang in there, hang in there. Dr. Nanjo, here's a new towel. How horrible. What is his condition? In all honesty, this is so severe that I cannot believe he is alive. Maybe the location of the wound was fortunate, but the blood loss is too horrible. Blood transfusion is necessary, but that will be impossible until tomorrow. Cough, cough. Rosa-sama. To us. Did this to us? Don't talk, Kennen-kun. Your wound will open. Rosa-sama came to Milady. And me and... What did you say? Rosa-sama did... Ooh, could that mean... Are you certain? Yes, I'm certain. It was Rosa-sama. Come now, don't speak anymore. Kumasawa-san, please grab another first aid kit. Genji-san, is it possible Rosa-sama did such a thing? I do not know. This regarding Nanjo and Kumasawa, who were struggling hard and stained with blood as they tried to stop the bleeding. Genji and Goda faced each other. Because of what Kennen had said was the truth. Rosa was the culprit who killed Jessica. Curse you, Rosa. How could you do that to my lady? I'll kill you. I will kill you. Kennen screamed even more hatefully. His hate-filled voice made it seem like he was seeing Jessica being harmed right before his eyes. Certainly, Rosa-sama may have had a reason to kill Milady. If everyone in the Ushirimio family were destroyed, the inheritance would all go to Rosa-sama. If so, Battler-sama and George-sama are in danger. Not only is Rosa-sama holding a gun, but right now they are the only ones in the lounge. Genji-san, isn't this situation quite perilous? Shannon suddenly ran out into the corridor. Her expression was complex and tragic, as though she didn't know what to believe. She's gonna get shot. Shannon ran. To where? The inside of the mansion had been scrupulously cleaned, so it probably wouldn't be easy to find. She might find it if she searched the rose garden, but they'd probably all been lost in this wind and rain. That's right. The boiler room isn't cleaned very often. If she went there, she might be able to find it. Shannon ran downstairs to find that in the underground boiler room. What are you looking for? Did some medicine take effect at the brink of death? Or was Cannon finally being beyond feeling pain? For the time being, at least, Cannon's painful grasping had subsided. Nanjo apparently didn't view this as a very good sign. He didn't let his eyes off Cannon for a second. Kumasawa firmly gripped Cannon's hand and kept encouraging him, so that the willpower keeping him alive didn't fade away. Genji and Goda seemed uncertain how to respond to the truth Cannon had risked his life to deliver. Rosa-sama's gun surely has 4 or 5 shots loaded. That is no small number. But loading cartridges into a Winchester should require quite a lot of practice. She might be able to get one shot off, but if everyone attacks her at once, we should be able to take the gun from her before she shoots again. We may have a doctor on this island, but we have no access to medicine and no hospital. If the location of the shot is bad, that person will die. I understand that, but more importantly, if we don't move quickly, there's a chance another crime will occur. It seems to me that Rosa-sama managed to cleverly chase us out. Maybe George-sama and Battler-sama are being killed right now. Calm down, Goda. If our foe is so dangerous, wouldn't it be better if we didn't provoke them too much? But tomorrow is still a long way off. Can't even imagine what strategies she might use. Genji-san, we should take action first. If we can at least steal the gun under some pretext, it might work out. There are 4 or 5 cartridges, are there not? That means there aren't enough to kill all of us. As long as we don't carelessly provoke her. Surely even Rosa-sama wouldn't be that rash. No, she said it. She said she'll massacre all of us. Did she? Oh. Cannon, who they thought was sleeping quietly, suddenly started talking brightly. Almost as though he'd been awake this whole time and had suddenly opened his mouth. Cannon looked firm and steady, which relieved Nanjo a bit, but considering the depth of that wound, he couldn't wipe away a certain creepy feeling. He knew because he was a doctor. After losing so much blood, Cannon might easily have lost consciousness. Yet somehow, he was still intensely aware of his surroundings. Was it youth? Or was it tenacity? Sometimes the power of human life surpassed common knowledge. While stopping the bleeding, Nanjo had gripped around a bit inside the bleeding hole with tweezers, making sure there were no foreign objects inside the affected area. The great depth of the wound had shocked him. It had certainly reached as far as his lungs. And yet, no, but the fact that he's still alive is wonderful. But Cannon had spoken clearly. He'd hatefully stated that the one named Rosa had made this wound, cursing and raging over and over and over. It's a fake. She wants to kill everyone by any means necessary before the typhoon passes, so that she can have the master's wealth all to herself. She told me that clearly. Damn, what a person. Genji-san, what should we do? Are there any weapons we can... I find it hard to believe. To think that Rosa-sama would say something like that. But how does... Yeah, I don't know. Genji-sama, it isn't a question of whether you believe or not. She told me. I heard it. Why won't you believe me? Don't get up. You'll harm your wound. Kanon sat up on the bed, speaking to Genji. He didn't seem to be willing to believe Kanon's story. She'll definitely kill all of us. She must have killed everyone in the parlor by now. If we don't kill her first, we'll definitely be killed first. Just like how I was killed first. Everyone else will also be killed first. Kill or be killed. Kill or be killed, or kill or be killed. Kanon-san, does that really not hurt? Oh, this? This is nothing. What do you mean it's nothing? It really isn't a big deal. It doesn't even hurt anymore. It's really nothing. As Kanon said that, he began to untie the bandages that had been painstakingly wrapped. The gruesome hole in his chest was immediately exposed. Kanon-san, you mustn't do that. Lie down, quickly. I said it's fine. Hey, see? This is nothing, right? Kanon showed off his gaping wound, which was still slowly spitting out foamy blood. Everyone averted their eyes reflexively. Look, I told you it wasn't a serious wound at all. Stop! You mustn't play with the wound. Come on, see? It isn't a deep one at all. Look. Kanon held up 2 fingers, showed them to everyone, and slowly started to stick them into the gruesome wound right in the center of his chest. Press. Plunging, slimy, squishy, wet. The fingers went in deep, all the way to their bases. Squished, gloop, bloop. Eek! Kanon-san, stop it! Stop it! His fingers were sticking all the way into his chest, up to their bases. And then he slowly pulled them out in exactly the same way. The fingers he pulled out were stained a sticky, solid, deep red color. And there was even a thread hanging. The fingers were covered up to their bases in deep red. What in the world? See? It is not a serious wound at all. See? At that moment, the door was slammed open and Shannon appeared. Even after she saw Kanon, stained with fresh blood, her impregnable expression didn't falter. Hey, Nissan, where'd you go? I'm on the verge of death here, so where'd you go? That's right. I went to the boiler room. There was something I had to find. More importantly, there's something I need to ask you. Are you really Kanon-kun? Huh? What? It was only natural. Everyone believed he was Kanon, so they couldn't understand the meaning of Shannon's question. When they looked, they noticed that Shannon was holding a handkerchief in her hand. It was filthy and looked like it had been used to wipe up some trash or dust. While holding that, she approached Kanon, drawing closer to his feet. What is that? It's a handkerchief with a spider's web wiped onto it. Why would you bring something like that? If you're Kanon-kun, you should be fine. But if spiders are your natural enemy, I thought you might not like it. Are you kidding? Why would I hate spiders? Sorry, I'll try it. Shannon-san. Oh? When Shannon brought that handkerchief close to Kanon's thigh, something happened in an instant. It happened all at once. The human eye couldn't have followed it. Kanon jumped like a wild goat, fleeing from the thing Shannon was holding. Then, from his arm, some kind of afterglow flashed purple and drew a curve through space. That arc, which drew 3 beautiful purple curves, traced across the throats of Nanjo and Kumasawa, who had been tending to him. Oh? And in an instant, Nanjo's and Kumasawa's throats opened like gaping mouths, and then the blood really started spewing out. The 3rd purple curve should have traced across Shannon's throat, but Shannon wasn't there, because Genji, who had been behind her, had wrapped his own arm around Shannon's neck and pulled her back. This all happened in an instant. This really happened, you guys. In the instant it took Goda to think fast and attempt to understand the scene, the frozen moment in time shattered. Blood was gushing from Nanjo and Kumasawa's torn open necks. But this... because it's supposed to be the head and the chest. But they're both neck wounds. I guess it can happen after the kill? I don't know. Cannon jumped and kicked off a picture frame that had been hanging from the wall behind him, springing forward just like a cat and aiming for Shannon's throat again. The cannon's target once again disappeared from in front of him, because Genji had pulled Shannon again, and the two of them had fallen to the ground in a defensive crouch. Nice reflexes, you see no old furniture. Goda. Oh! Even Goda was no fool. Even if he couldn't fully understand what was going on, he at least realized that if this cannon wasn't seized, his own life would also be in peril. He sprang at Cannon with his huge body, pushing him up against the wall with all his weight and physical strength. Oh, whoa! Let go, fat ass. Another purple curve was drawn from the tips of the fingers on Cannon's right hand. And when he raised that hand like a sword, aiming for Goda's back, there was a loud thunk. Because Cannon's raised hand had been pinned to the wall. He couldn't tear his palm away from the wall. Sticking out from it was the knife Genji had thrown. Under normal circumstances, it would have been surprising to see someone as old as Genji handle a knife so skillfully. But in this abnormal space, no one paid it much mind. Genji-san, take this. Indeed. Genji took the handkerchief with the spider web stuck to it from Shannon, and he approached Cannon, who was pinned to the wall by Goda's massive body and the knife. Stop it! Keep that away from me! Stop it! Stop! When Genji pushed the handkerchief up against Cannon's face, there was a sound just like setting meat on a red-hot iron plate. Of course, the smell was the same too. As he was horribly burned, festering filthy red and black and crying out in his death throes, Cannon's body burst open and scattered. Compass butterflies. It was almost as though a balloon filled with gold leaf had popped. The entire servant room was completely buried under a storm of gold leaf. No, a cloud of gold butterflies. Those butterflies began to softly fade, as though into water, or rather into the empty air itself, and afterwards, all that was left was the three survivors sitting on their butts, stained with blood. However, not everyone was merely stained with blood. Some of them were lying on the ground, spurting out blood themselves. Kumasawa! Dr. Nanjo! Slits so sharp they looked like they'd cut your finger if you touched them open wide, and large amounts of blood kept pouring out. What was that just now? Goda, have you been injured? I'm fine. But what did we just see? What happened? I know I pushed that thing against this wall with my own hand, but even I cannot understand what happened. Goda looked at his own hand. The bright red blood left from his scuffle with Cannon definitely remained, and yet Cannon was nowhere to be seen, because he had disappeared. He had transformed into gold butterflies and scattered. Goda kept screaming alone, without a clue about what was going on. Shannon sobbed in front of Nanjo's and Kumasawa's remains, as Genji watched over her, silent as always. Oh. So that's just the midpoint. Oh. Never mind. So it's 1:17. 117. But they didn't die with the stakes. Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san were... What on earth are you talking about? Ah, Shannon. Thank goodness you're safe. If something had happened to you, George-san. Ooh. George, Actually, hold on. Let's check first. Okay. Finishing touches are yet to come. However, this alone isn't enough. I think we read it wrong, so that's right. Okay. George-kun, be quiet for a second. A murder occurred before your very eyes, right? Did you see the culprit? Or not? That is, how should I explain? Genji-san? Even we cannot adequately explain what happened in front of us. It certainly, happened right before our eyes. It was right in front of my eyes. However, it was, what was it? Even I don't understand. What are you saying? You couldn't have met anyone except the witch, Beatrice, whose location has been unknown since yesterday. Or Kanon-kun, who's gone missing. Was it a man or a woman? You should be able to tell me at least that much, right? Aunt Rosa, calm down a bit. Anyone would be confused if two people were taken out right in front of them. Goto-san, Genji-san, there's no need to rush. Tell us what happened, one thing at a time. As to that, how should I say it? Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san had been killed. We understood that much. It seemed that it had occurred in front of these people's eyes. But even so, they spoke awkwardly. They admitted that they had definitely seen the crime with their own eyes, but when asked to explain what they had seen, their mouths went suddenly shut. I could understand why Aunt Rosa was irritated and flaring up. Shannon, did you see it? When Dr. Nanjo was attacked? Yes. Tell me, just what you understand. What in the world happened? Someone came to the back door. That's right. Someone came up to the back door. Then, wondering who it was, I opened the door. Someone at the back door? Who was it? Let them finish. And after that? That person was stained with blood and had a large wound. They carried that person to the servant room, and Dr. Nanjo immediately began first aid. It was a very deep wound. Like I said, who are you talking about? I don't know. Certainly in the beginning, I thought that was the case. No, I still think that. But what in the world was that? I don't know. In a manner that didn't match his large body, Goto held his head and scratched at it. I didn't have a clue if he was confused because he couldn't remember, or because he'd seen something terrifying and couldn't accept it. And Shannon looked the same way. If she let her guard down, what she'd seen just a short while ago would quickly melt away like a daydream. She wouldn't be able to remember anything. That's what she looked like. Only Genji looked composed as usual, so the questions were naturally directed at him. However, even Genji took quite some time before he spoke, and he had to gather his thoughts. Genji-san, you saw it, right? Who came in through the back door? At first, we believed that person was Kanon. You see? He was alive after all. My theory was correct. By at first, you mean that your impression changed later, right? Yes. I cannot explain with words what happened after that. He killed Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa, then disappeared. At that time, he was definitely not Kanon. Yes, that's right. It's just as Genji-san says. You really couldn't explain it with words. Do you have the same opinion? Yes. I can only say the same thing. If we gave their claims the benefit of the doubt, That means that Aunt Rosa's first conclusion was correct. Cannon had appeared near the back door to the kitchen with a serious injury. Then, he had been taken to the servant room and cared for. And after that, something terrifying had happened. So, were these people so convinced that Cannon-kun couldn't possibly have done such a thing? That they'd started to suspect whether it had even been Cannon-kun at all? In other words, that means Cannon-kun did appear. No matter how confused they are, no matter how they muddle their words, that's what it means in the end. So, does that mean that, after all, Cannon-kun used some trick to escape that room, even though it was locked? No, that doesn't matter anymore. The real problem is that Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san were killed. Aunt Rosa has claimed that Cannon-kun was behind this from the very beginning. No matter how confused these people are, no matter how much they try to deny it, they're halfway confirming that she was right. But even so, for some reason, it felt like their awkwardness couldn't be explained by confusion alone. What did they see? Like they said, did they really see something that couldn't be explained with words? They saw a zombie. Zombies exist! Aunt Rosa, who decided that further talk wouldn't get us anywhere, concluded her questioning and said she wanted to check the two bodies. That was something I'd been wanting to do too. The witnesses had been unable to figure anything out, but they'd been shaken. Those of us who hadn't been at the scene calmly looked at the corpses, might find something. But it was a little surprising to learn that Aunt Rosa was also concerned about the bodies. Even at this point, I still wanted to use any clues I could find to expose the culprit and the truth myself. But it should have been different in Aunt Rosa's case. Hasn't Aunt Rosa prioritized staying safe over finding the culprit? Couldn't really see why she would go to all the trouble of leaving our barricade in the parlor, just because she wanted to check the bodies. We will all go to the servant room together. If we all move together, it'll be safe. Maria, stop playing with scribbles. Ooh, not scribbles. I'm solving Beatrice's puzzle. Ooh. Beatrice's puzzle? What's that? Show me too. Aunt Rosa, are you, bringing Maria-chan too? It seemed that George Aniki was against the idea of bringing Maria to the bloody crime scene. But considering that Maria would be all alone if left here, it'd surely be much safer to take Maria with us. In the end, it was just Aniki's irresponsible humanism. We decided that all of us, including Maria, would go to the servant room. Oh boy. The bed in the servant room was stained with bright red blood. No, not just the bed. The whole room was covered with a gruesome paint from countless bloodstains. That dreadful scene alone was enough to give us an idea of the repulsive sight they'd been trying to describe. Ooh, I want to look too. Maria-chan, wait here with me. George Aniki was standing by the entrance, covering Maria's eyes with his back to the room. He probably didn't want to dirty an innocent girl's retinas with repulsive blood in this room. That was surely the correct decision. I was acting tough right now, so I didn't mind. But for the rest of my life, whenever I see red paint scattered around, I'll probably remember this room and start to vomit. My retinas have already had this room burned into them. In other words, it's already too late for me. Huh? Where did they... Right after they entered the servant room, Goda-san and Shannon-chan trembled. We shook, wondering what horrible new situation had arisen to make them tremble again. What happened? What is it? Aunt Rosa also shuddered, raised her gun high, and searched for whatever it was that had made them shudder. But she couldn't find it. It was only natural. They were trembling because they couldn't find it. Hey, what in the world's going on? The two bodies aren't here. What does this mean? That can't be. Those two were definitely here. Wait. What the hell are you? Are you saying the corpses just walked off somewhere? That couldn't happen, right? I mean, wasn't the servant room locked? Didn't you unlock the door when you came in just now, Koda-san? So, what does that mean? Isn't this the same as Jessica's room? Someone's disappeared from inside a closed room again? That's ridiculous. I don't have a clue what happened either. When we left this room, we definitely locked it. I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. There was a timid, pitiful smile on Koda-san's face that he definitely wouldn't have let show normally. Shannon was the same. 2 corpses disappeared? And furthermore, they disappeared while the door was locked? Even if Cannon-kun was the culprit, he shouldn't have a master key anymore. That's wrong. Cannon-kun isn't the culprit. Shannon. I believe Shannon. Cannon-kun is not the culprit. This must be the doing of someone who looks a lot like him. No. Cannon-kun could have gotten the master key. After all, his master key was found in the pocket of Jessica-chan's corpse. And who took that key? That's right. It was Dr. Nanjo. That's right. Back then, it definitely was Dr. Nanjo who searched through Jessica's clothes and found the master key. So if someone had the opportunity to search Dr. Nanjo's corpse, it would have been easy for them to take the master key back. Aunt Rosa searched under the bed and in the locker. By now, I also understood what that meant. If you assume there were 2 culprits, this can be easily explained. First person was Cannon-kun, or maybe an imposter who looked like him. He finished off Dr. Nanjo and ran off somewhere. Second person was probably the 19th person, Beatrice, whose location was unknown. That person hid under the bed in the servant room beforehand, and while Dr. Nanjo's body was enshrined here, they waited for Genji-san and the rest to leave. Then later, they crawled out, took the master key back from Dr. Nanjo's pocket, and carried the 2 corpses away for some reason. If they then locked the door with the master key, you'd end up with this closed room. Cackle. You constructed that one pretty fast, basing it off your reasoning from Jessica's room. With that method, you could create a closed room even without magic. Should I give you passing marks? However, interestingly enough, there's one thing you mustn't forget. If the culprit took back the master key as you suggest, they must have known that Nanjo took the master key from Jessica's body. You don't have to tell me that. You're probably trying to say that it's information only the people in that place at that time could know. Ha! This third closed room was crushed so fast that you're stuck trying to make hurtful remarks like that. There's no art in repeating the same content over and over. You may have managed to bluff, but that move of the witches hurts bad. I can tell that I'm cracking under the thing I want to deny the most. This person is trying to close in on me from 2 directions. On the one hand, there's the frontal attack, where she tries to force me to believe there's a witch using closed room tricks that only a witch could do. And on the other hand, there's the rear attack, where she tries to lure me into wanting a witch to exist, by strengthening my suspicions of those close to me. In the first closed room, the chapel, she used the frontal attack, and didn't work on me. So by the second closed room, and now in the third closed room, she's definitely changing the direction of her attack. However, the fact that she is changing the direction of her attack proves that my resistance is having some effect. She must have given up on the frontal attack because she clearly can't win with it. I tried to settle my unease by thinking these things, but apparently the witch had seen through me long ago. Kaku. I will not abandon my frontal attack. My rear attack only has meaning because it advances at the same time as the front. If I were to degenerate into only using the rear attack, it would merely result in a foolish plan where my means have become my goal. Became my goal. Really? Well then, won't you repeat someone was hiding in the servant room using that red you were so proud of? There is no need. The premise of your theory is about to be destroyed. Oh, really? You refuse? So someone really is hiding? Rosa will destroy your premise right now. Kaku. Come, let's listen in. Please, believe us, Rosa-sama. With 2 corpses, we're definitely lying here. Bright red blood on the floor is theirs. Aunt Rosa began to search through various objects around the room, her back to Goda-san as he cried out in supplication. Eventually, she found something and for a while stopped moving. Rosa-sama, you definitely aren't lying. 2 corpses were definitely here. Be quiet. The person who hid the corpses has confessed that they took them to another place. With this. Rosa showed them a single sheet of paper over her shoulder. What on earth is that? Could it be a letter in a sealed envelope, just like in the chapel? Yes, that's right. It was set here, out in the open. I'll read it. Members of the Ushirimiya family and its household, have you now reached the climax of the riddle of the gold's epitaph? There's only one way you all can stop me, by solving the epitaph's riddle. There are no other options left to you that will result in the suspension of my ceremony. I humbly ask that you take care not to misunderstand your current situation. Searching for me will prove useless. Attempting to escape will prove useless. Trying to deny me will prove useless. Beatrice the Golden. P.S. I borrowed those 2 corpses for my ceremony. They'll be returned to you in due time, so I crave your indulgence. Also, these keys belong to you, so I return them to you now. As Rosa read that aloud, the contents of the envelope lay exposed out on the palm of her hand. They were 2 master keys. The master key that Nadra had found in Jessica's pocket, which had originally been Cannon's, and Kumasawa's master key. What the hell? So what does that mean? Damn you again. You're saying you can only suspect the servants with the keys again? I won't say it in red, okay? I won't deny the possibility that after they locked the door and left, someone was hiding in this room, okay? Cap. They hid under the bed. It still would have been possible for them to carry the corpses somewhere. But they wouldn't have been able to lock the door. The master key they went to all that trouble to get was left right here. That's right, I've forgotten. What about the keys specifically for this room? The servant room keys. Indeed. Those are kept in the key box in the center of the servant room. There are several servant room keys, but all of those are inside the key box. Which means the situation is exactly the same as Jessica's room. It's not like the servants would walk around with an unnecessary key when they have those convenient master keys. You can accept that they're all kept in the key box. And the other conditions remain unchanged as well. Entry and exit are impossible, except for the single door and the single window. Therefore, hidden doors and irregular methods of entry cannot exist. Rejoice, great detectives. Cackle. And those were both locked. The door and the window do not permit any kind of entry or exit when they are locked. So it wouldn't work to remove the door and make a crack to slide in through or anything like that while the lock is still set. And obviously it is impossible to unlock the door without a servant room key or the master key. It's a pain having to read all these aloud every time. Sooner or later I should think of a word to put this all together and abbreviate it. But you can't repeat that someone was hiding in this room. However, that alone won't break open the door of a closed room. Ah, damn it. It's useless. It's all useless. Cat. What happened to that spinning the chessboard around thing that you're so proud of? Please, announce your boastful strange theory. Spin the chessboard around. What would I do if I were the culprit? Carry the corpses off somewhere. I'll leave a letter. I'll lock the door from the inside. Then I just have to escape this room by some means. Damn it, is that even possible? I was told in red that you can't get outside except through the door or the window. At that moment, I got it. That's right. The culprit carried away the corpses, left the letter, and since they didn't use a hidden door, they weren't able to escape. That's it. This isn't a question, it's an answer. Beato. Before I ask you to repeat anything, I want to check the definition of hidden doors that you're using. What have you thought of? Very well, I'll explain. A hidden door refers to an entrance or exit that cannot be recognized as such by those who don't know of it beforehand, of course. Even children know that. So in other words, if you can't get outside the room with it, it isn't a hidden door? Oh, so that's your game. Kept thinking there needs to be some way for the culprit to escape from the closed room. That's wrong. The culprit couldn't escape, so they decided to hide until we all left. During the second closed room, I tried applying this theory to Cannon-kun, but after hearing Cannon-kun was killed in red, I gave it up. After that, I proposed that a third person might have been in the room before escaping through a hidden door. And then for the first time, I was faced with the red claim that no hidden doors exist. Now, I'll move from there to what I've just learned. That term, hidden door, refers to things that make it possible to enter or leave a room. In other words, that category doesn't cover things that don't actually lead in or out of the room, even if these things could never be recognized by people who didn't know about them beforehand. So, if we had something like a hidden shelf or a secret closet, for example, that wouldn't count as a hidden door. That means the third person from Jessica's room is hiding here, waiting for us to leave. How pathetic. It was all just a bit of wordplay. Looks like that technique should be enough to handle even this third closed room. If there's a hidden shelf under the bed or anything like that, that'd be enough. The culprit's hiding somewhere, waiting for us to leave. The culprit is also trapped in this closed room even now, which means at this very moment, the culprit is still hiding in the servant room, holding their breath. That means, what the hell? Even though we've been tortured by closed rooms 3 times, this very moment, I actually got the culprit in checkmate? I'm finally starting to see it. Eat this, Beato. Repeat it. There is no one in this room other than us. By us, I mean George and Inky, Maria, Aunt Rosa, Genji-san, Goda-san, and Shannon-chan. Got it? What do you think? You can't say it, right? I'll bet that hit you where it hurts. If you refuse, then say it, damn it. Here comes the next one. Repeat it. I don't know how they're hiding in this room, but if they are, then this solves the second closed room, Justice room at the same time. Finally caught her by the tail. With this, I can explain everything. Witches don't exist, and I don't have to suspect anyone. Alright, starting now. I'll spin it all around. Now I'll have her repeat that. No one exists in this room except your group. Your group refers to Battler, George, Maria, Rosa, Genji, Goda, and Shannon. What? Let's go back to Jessica's room. When Jessica's corpse was discovered, only Battler, George, Maria, Rosa, Genji, Goda, Shannon, Kumasawa, and Nanjo were in Jessica's room. Whoops, the corpse of Jessica is also included. Therefore, both in the case involving Jessica's room and the one involving the servant room, no humans exist that you were not aware of. No one is hiding. The cannon wasn't in the room. And I'll say more. No method exists by which the door can be locked from the outside without using a key. Regarding the window, no method exists by which it could somehow be locked from the outside. Let me also say this. You are incompetent. Dumbass! So, it's really a closed room, isn't it? And just when I finally managed to think of a way out. If you were hiding, that would fit everything. Just when I thought I'd broken through to your trick. Damn it! It's useless. It's useless. It's useless. It's all useless. For a second, I thought I had it. It's all useless. Damn it. I was so sure that I'd finally seen through her. That I'd seen how she distracted me with her clever red wordplay and fooled me. Just when I thought I found a light in the darkness. It disappeared. Just disappeared. Swallowed up by a blood-red sea. Red. 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 No one is hiding. There's no hidden door and no way to get past the door or the window while they're locked. Have we just proven that it's all impossible? Has the devil's proof been fulfilled? With a frontal attack? Impossible. That's impossible. What's wrong, Shuriya Battler? Aren't you so confident in your ability to deny witches? Why are you groveling and wringing out bitter tears in a place like that? Yes, what a truly splendid tactic. Truly splendid how you're trying to make me fall over and drown in a sea of tears from my own laughter. That is what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to make me laugh and laugh and laugh myself to death, right? Oh. Ooh. Shu. Ro. Mia. Bat. To. Lur. What? That's weird. What are you calling magic? I'll definitely prove that witches don't exist. Definitely won't believe in you. You used the power of magic, and bullied and killed everyone for fun. I definitely won't accept that. Hey, Battler. Sorry for bullying you so much. I'll spin the chessboard around from my side. I'll stand in your place and show you the best possible move you can make. Wanna hear? Don't screw with me, I don't wanna hear. I don't wanna hear! Consider Jessica's room. You were off to a good start, you know that. All that about hiding and waiting for everyone else to leave. That truly was well spotted. But why did you only think of Cannon and me, the 19th person? I see, so the hide part of hiding and waiting got in the way, which prevented you from getting any further. Come on, you see what I'm getting at, don't you? It's Jessica. Jessica! If Jessica were the culprit, a force like this could be easily constructed. She killed Cannon-kun and carried him off somewhere. Then she played dead and let us walk by. But that's ridiculous. Dr. Nanjo definitely confirmed that she was dead. So was Dr. Nanjo an accomplice too? That's wrong. I also confirmed that Jessica was dead. Of course, I never examined the corpse before, but she was definitely dead. I think she was dead. No, that's probably definitely what I thought, but certainly, wait. She was dead. She was dead! Jessica was in on it. And Nanjo, who examined her corpse, was in on it too. That makes the third closed room a farce, doesn't it? Yes. Yeah, then it's simple. Dr. Nanjo was in on it, so in other words, he's on the culprit side, which means he was never dead in the first place. Thought his body disappeared after he was killed, but what if he was never in the servant room to begin with? So if Kumasama Bachan disappeared with him, does that mean she's in on it too? That's not all. That's not all. The servants who all agreed to keep to that story, Genji-san and Goda-san, even Shen-chan, were also in on it. And the one who stole the key from Maria's handbag was Jessica. No, could even have been George Aniki. After all, if Shen-chan is on the culprit side, that automatically makes George Aniki on the culprit side. Wait a second, just wait a second. They're all wolves. They're all wolves! Not only am I drowning in an ocean of bright red blood, there are packs of wolves clamoring on the banks, whose blazing eyes tell me that they'll eat me if I call out. Which way should I die? Should I deny everything and drown in a bright red sea? Or should I learn the truth and have my whole body chewed to bits by the wolves? It's either one hell or the other. I can't choose. Gah! That's why I'm here. Come, assure me, Battler, and Neo. Swear your eternal loyalty and lick my shoes. If you accept me, all of the riddles will be resolved. With my power, any kind of closed room can be created or destroyed. Battler, don't you want to abandon yourself to the joy of surrendering to one with power? I'll make you my favorite furniture. I'll love you so much and make you my toy until you turn to ashes. Cap. Jeez. Poor Battler. I don't want to be in this situation. Now, it's clear. There's no longer any reason to doubt. Huh? What are you saying? Kept saying those two are dead, but they aren't here. And now we have this letter from Beatrice where she's been kind enough to confess that she carried the corpses off. It's as simple as that. I've had enough of this, Varth. Oh boy. As Aunt Rosa yelled this, she looked at all of us with a fierce expression. I do like this track, though. What do you mean? By farce? I said it in Jessica Chan's room. Can't trust anyone but yourself and those whose corpses have been found. And since we can't find the corpses of those two people, you must not accept that they've been killed. Please, wait, Aunt Rosa. What do you mean by that? Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san aren't dead, they're alive. We're supposed to believe that they've been killed, but they're definitely hiding somewhere in this mansion, so that they can attack us. How could you know that? Are you saying that Goda-san and the rest are lying? Rosa-sama. Hi, Goda. No, all of the Ushiramiya family servants. We all swear that nothing of the sort happened. We all say that those two are killed, but since there are no corpses, we mustn't believe you. There's a chance that you worked out a story beforehand, that you're lying. There's a good way to prove your innocence, isn't there? Find Dr. Nanjo's and Kumasawa-san's bodies. If you can find them, then maybe I'll start listening to your story. But until you do, you cannot deny that you are all wolves. You. And you. I'll bet you were all bought by that witch, that your eyes were blinded by gold. Do you really want money that much? That's right, isn't it? You want to live the easy life for as long as you live? What value could a life like that possibly have? Rosa-sama, we couldn't have. Be silent. Shannon, don't get any closer. To think you'd repay a 10-year-long debt of gratitude with a betrayal. I'll pull the trigger without mercy. How could you? It's too cruel. Aunt Rosa, that's horrible. Murder occurred in this room, and then the culprit carried the corpses away. All they're doing is honestly reporting what they saw. Shannon finally broke down in tears. She had sacrificed 10 years to the Ushiramiya family. She had sacrificed 10 of those most brilliant years of her life. She had believed that she'd built up a friendly relationship with Rosa, and this was what she got in return. You can kill a person without using a knife. It didn't have to be Georgia Nikki to realize that Shannon-chan had been stabbed deep in the heart, that she was shedding tears like blood. Shannon-san, stay back. Rosa-san, it is true that I, Goda, have not served for many years, and I understand that I have not earned your trust. However, could you not believe in Shannon-san at least? She had sacrificed a full 10 years in service to the Ushiramiya family. I'm not telling you to believe me. At the very least, can't you believe in Shannon-san? But even I don't understand anymore. I don't understand. You can't search for an answer without suspecting them. Yeah, bit by bit, I'm starting to understand. It's because we've been searching an answer. That's why everything keeps going wrong. We don't need an answer. These are all strange murders committed with bizarre magic by the 19th person, the Witch Beatrice, in accordance with some creepy ceremony. Isn't that enough? I don't want to suspect anyone anymore. Shannon-chan and Goda-san were protesting their innocence, half crying. Genji-san quietly put a stop to that. Congrats on passing your exam. Currently watching your Umineko VOD, so I'm very late on the congrats. No, it's all good, Miles. Thanks for stopping by. It's quite a wild ride. How's it going, Miles? How was your turn to die? Death game by majority. Oh, man. Yeah, so now I'm just waiting on word of if I got into the program, which I think I did as a matter of funding, so working that out. Hopefully I'll get an answer within, like, the next couple weeks. Genji-san quietly put a stop to that. Enough. What Rosa-sama says is quite sensible. Until we find the corpses, we cannot prove Dr. Nanjo and Kurosawa's innocence. That's right. By Rosa-san's argument, if their corpses can be found, then the innocence of those people alone can be proven. But that only counted for the corpses. Even if the survivors searched the mansion and found the corpses in the end, their own innocence would never be proven. They kidnapped Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san, killed them in another place, and locked the closed room with their own master keys. Unless the closed room could be broken by a method other than that one, it would be impossible to prove their innocence. But that couldn't be done. They only have one chance to prove their innocence. That can only happen if they meet with the culprit, become corpses, and are then reunited with Aunt Rosa. Isn't that strange? They're innocent if they die, but guilty as long as they're alive, just like a witch trial. Oh right, the enemy's a witch. So everything's cool, is that it? Going good things? I was up till 3 AM building an IKEA bed, so I'm dead today? Oh no. But at least it's built right. Damn though. How difficult was it setting that up? I don't think have I seen an IKEA bed? I don't think so. Nah. I definitely had an IKEA shelf for sure. That was fun. Partially built? Enough to sleep on? Oh, okay. That's good. Man, hope you get that rest. Rosa-san. We are furniture and service to the Ushirimiya family. Whether you trust us or not is no business of ours. No matter what assessment you give us, we will merely continue to serve until our final hour. You really are our model servant. I deeply understand my father trusts you. It really is heartrending that I must suspect even you. Andy-san stuck his hand into his pocket and pulled out a master key. Then he set it on a nearby table. I believe I was given this as a sign of the trust placed in me. If that trust has been lost, I think it only natural that I return it. That's a good decision. Those master keys are the main reason you've been suspected several times today. It may seem elementary that letting go of those might clear away that suspicion, but I don't think it's a bad thing. You too. Genji-san looked at Goda-san and Shannon-chan. The two of them nodded and set their own master keys on the table. Aunt Rosa laid the 2 master keys that had come out of the envelope on top. With that, all 5 master keys were gathered in this place. In other words, this was proof that all the servants' service until today had been negated. With even the final honor they should have been permitted stripped from them. Damn. Maria, give me that handbag. Who? Give it back. Aunt Rosa snatched Maria's handbag, tossed the master keys in there, and held up one of them for all to see. She was showing us that she now had all the master keys. Are you satisfied now, Aunt Rosa? Now you have all the master keys. Doesn't that satisfy you? Yes, I'm satisfied. Even if I can't trust anyone else, I can at least trust myself. I've been able to get the gun and call all the master keys for myself. Now, I don't have to suspect anyone. You all are happy too, I take it. Now you don't have to be suspected anymore. What? That time, Maria, who alone seemed to be watching this as though it were a show, sneered at her mother. Aunt Rosa reacted nervously to that laugh and turned around. Keys don't have anything to do with this. Beatrice can open doors with magic. She doesn't need keys. Doesn't matter who has or doesn't have something like that. Don't I always tell you to stop laughing like that? What is it, Patlerkin? I just cut in between the two of them. No, that's not it. I was on my knees and hugging Maria's head. I was crying. Just stop it already, Aunt Rosa. Maria was right. What are you talking about? What? Got a lurk and work, but congrats again on passing. Hopefully you hear from them soon about the program. Thank you, Miles. Hope you have a good day at work. Thank you for stopping by. Maria, I'm sorry for doubting. I'm sorry for not believing. Is he really gonna believe? Battler. It was all the witch is doing. The witch is doing. All that stuff about tricks and closed rooms didn't matter. It's just that the witch Beatrice actually exists. And she's really a witch. And because I didn't believe, it's been so painful and so sad. You believe in Beatrice? Yes, I believe Beatrice exists, and she's a witch who uses strange magic. Battler. Maria let go of my hand, and then she was the one holding my head. That's enough, Battler. Beatrice existed. You had so much trouble believing, so you couldn't see her. Witches exist. They exist. And will come soon. You believed in Beato, so you'll surely be invited to the Golden Line. Very soon now. It'll happen very soon. So there's nothing to be afraid of anymore. There's no need to be afraid, okay? Stay with me. Hands joined, okay? Let's think about the riddle of the epitaph together. Let's think about Beato's puzzle. Beato has been saying it from the beginning. She hasn't said anything other than, let's play and solve this puzzle. Right, she did. Searching for the culprit was just a waste of time. If only we had just believed in the witch. After gently brushing my cheek as my tears kept dripping down, Maria kissed my forehead as soft as a feather. For just that instant, Maria's smile, which had once seemed creepy to me, looked like that of an angel. We have returned the master keys, but our loyalty to the Ushiromia family will not change. From now on, you will not enter the parlor without permission. Rosa-sama, please, lock the parlor from the inside. You truly are an admirable person. And the typhoon passes. The cries of the seagulls return to this island again. I wonder if we'll be able to trust each other once more. If you were to grant us your trust once again, there could be no greater pleasure. I see. We'll definitely be able to understand each other when the seagulls cry. Title drop. It would probably be best if we left this room as it is until the police come. Rosa-sama, if you would please lock it. We will return to the kitchen. If you need anything, please command us at any time. Thank you. If you are a wolf, how shamelessly you speak. If you are a sheep, then I'm sorry for throwing you into the cage of wolves. Furniture entrusts its fate to the family. If I could regain your trust by giving up this life of mine, I would consider it a great honor. I hope you all manage to remain safe until the typhoon passes, if such a thing is possible. This is all a rhapsody of blowing winds and pouring rain performed by the typhoon. When the performance ends and the curtain closes, you'll surely be able to grasp hands together again. When the seagulls cry. They're doing the title drop a lot more than Higurashi did. Aunt Rosa nodded in response. Genji-san turned on his heels. He left the servant room. Goda-san's face was still streaked with tears, but maybe he'd managed to sort out his feelings as he listened to Genji-san's words. His face had been truly shameful, but it had returned to the face of the Goda-san we knew well. I will also be waiting in the kitchen. If you need anything, please command me at any time. If you wish for some warm food, I, Goda, will have the very best prepared for you. Thank you. Can't wait for your breakfast tomorrow. And the boat will probably come by midday tomorrow. Thanks for everything up until now. Cooking was my only pleasure on Rakunshima. Certainly. I, Goda, will prepare a supreme breakfast. Please look forward to tomorrow morning. Thank you. And Chen, tomorrow morning, let's make up and have some delicious coffee. Charge-kun? I'm going with them. It's alright, George-sama. Please, return to the parlor. There are no more master keys. So if you're with Rosa-sama in the parlor, you won't be threatened by anyone. You're right. That's how things have sorted themselves out, isn't it? Objectively speaking, I'd say you'll be safest staying with me in the parlor. But I won't force you to stay with us. George-kun. You may stay in any place you feel is safe. You're already an adult. It's up to you where and with whom you spend the time until tomorrow. Morning. Yes, I will decide with whom I'll spend this night. Aniki. Battler-kun. Stay with Aunt Rosa in the parlor. I'm sure you'll be safest there. Everywhere outside the parlor is dangerous in comparison. So I can't leave her in a place like that alone. It's not like I suspect Shannon-chan and the other servants, or anyone at all. I don't want to suspect anyone. The inheritance? The gold? It's all nothing. There's no way people are killing each other over things like that. Yes, I know better than anyone how pure your heart is, Battler-kun. No one will blame you. No one. Aniki! It's alright. I'll protect you, Battler. If you're with me, even Beatrice won't be able to lay a hand on you. I may be small, but I'm still a witch. Yes, Maria-chan. I'm leaving Battler in your care. Alright, Shannon. Let's go. Yes, Rosa-sama. If you would excuse me. If you have an order, please call me at any time. Sorry for saying something so cruel just now. I don't expect you to forgive me until tomorrow morning. Whoops. There you go. But when tomorrow morning comes, let me apologize again. Yes. Thank you very much. George Aniki and Shannon-chan left the servant room together. Now, only Maria, Aunt Rosa, and I were left in this disgusting blood-stained room. Until Genji-san disappeared, until Goda-san disappeared, until George Aniki and Shannon-chan disappeared, we stood there, shocked. After their presence and their footsteps had completely disappeared, Aunt Rosa giggled, as though she just remembered something pleasant. Oh? Can't trust them for a moment. That damn furniture. That one sentence made me choke. What? Why are you saying something like that? There are 5 master keys in all? Who would believe that? It's obvious that some duplicate keys exist, as if you could trust them just because they pulled keys out of their pockets. You don't mean that, right? By setting down those keys, they were just letting go of them. You've made all of their hard work count for nothing, disgraced it, trampled it, and in the end, made them give up their keys. What's with that parting line? They've shown that they're willing to go this far, and you still can't trust them? Too much. That's just too much. It's devil's proof. There are 5 master keys in all? It's impossible to prove something like that. You can show that there are 5 master keys by placing them here, but you can't prove that no more than 5 exists? Only a demon or a witch could prove something like that, right? Stop it already. Stop it already. Please, Beatrice, show yourself right now. Tell Aunt Rosa and Red that there are only 5 master keys. Please, I'm begging you. This can only be proved by devils, by a witch like you. Please, Beata, show yourself here and tell Rosa that those are all the master keys. That there's no need to suspect anyone anymore. There are only 5 master keys. There are only 5 master keys. Cackle, how's that? No matter how often I say it, it won't reach Rosa's ears. After all, it seems that there's still someone who denies that I exist, right? Ushirimiya Battler. I accept it. I accept it. You exist. You exist. You definitely exist. So I'm begging you, stop this already. Stop it already. Stop it already. Ah! Words alone are not enough. Show it with your actions. Swear from your heart that you will become my furniture. Can you do it? Take off your clothes, be naked, and then put your hands on the ground and crawl. Clothing is proof of one's humanity. From now on, you'll become furniture, so it's only natural that you will lose that right. Then kneel, make your tongue crawl on my shoes. Can you do it? You can do it, right? When you do, I'll appear and say it in red. I'll tell Rosa that there are only 5 master keys. Oh, but of course, you'll never abandon that lordly pride of hers. But you've done well. Done more than enough. You're starting to get that tingly feeling, aren't you? For just an instant, you thought maybe licking my shoes wouldn't be so bad, didn't you? You immediately denied that and felt ashamed, right? Just looking at your expression feels just heavenly. I did not think this. That face of yours is so pathetic. So go look in a mirror. You'll see how low you are. Naked and licking my shoes, right? Can you see it? Missionary Battler! Jesus. God damn. Oh, man. It's too wild. 6? 6 o'clock? Okay. We should do the 5-minute bear beat right now. Yeah. Oh, man. It's a wild ride. It's a wild ride. I mean, I have to suspect someone, right? It's just... I don't know. This could be your favorite. Could be George, could be Shannon, could be Jessica. But yeah, let's do a 5-minute bear beat. Un momento. Alright. And we're back. Yeah, I guess let's see how this plays out. Is Rosa gonna kill everyone? Or... Can't believe it. Are you saying that's the truth? Yes. I've told you everything as you saw it. George folded his... I don't know what that sound is. George folded his arms and started mumbling again. The kitchen was once again wrapped in a long silence. George-sama, fully aware how hard it must be for you to believe all that so suddenly. After all, even though I saw it with my own eyes, I grew less and less sure that what it was I actually saw. I'm sure I saw it. I'm sure I got into a fight too. And yet, I almost feel like it was all an illusion. I see. So that's why you couldn't go into the details in front of Aunt Rosa. If you actually told her what you just told me, you'd probably believe it. You'd probably be in even more trouble. Yeah, Genji-san really did handle that one composedly, didn't he? If only I had the power to explain it myself. George had not actually seen it, and even when pressed to believe, he just couldn't imagine it. It was something natural. Because even the people who had actually seen it had given up asking themselves what it was. Let's rewind the story a bit. Shannon, you said that when you thought Canon-kun was an imposter, you picked up some spiderwebs and came back, right? Why did you do that? That's right. I was thinking about that as well. Why spiderwebs? I happened to hear it from Kumasawa-san once. A long time ago, evil spirits lived on Rakanjima, and they feared spiderwebs. They say there's a legend that people treasured spiderwebs as amulets. And, right at that moment, I think I was also a bit confused. When it comes to those old stories, Kumasawa was very knowledgeable. Well, spiders are very useful bugs, after all. Yes, it wouldn't be at all strange for a belief system like that to come into being. I'm sure that the Torii Shrine was suppressing the power of those evil spirits. And because the spirit mirror was broken, that power came back. That power must be what allowed Beatrice-sama to revive. If I, weak-hearted as I am, hadn't done such an outrageous thing. Shannon, you don't have to worry about that anymore. I don't blame you for it. It's weird that Kenzo's not missing. Since long ago, Shannon had often suggested that there was some kind of occult cause for her meeting with George. After listening to her, George had grown to think that she was being a typical girl, associating love with fate, chance, and miracles. He did think that smashing the spirit mirror offered at the Torii Shrine was taking it a bit far, but he laughed it off and forgiven her, thinking of it just a prank that showed how serious she was about her relationship with him. Just breaking a mirror in some musty shrine wouldn't have changed the fate of our meeting. That would never cause any curse. He tried to cheer her up, saying it was only a musty mirror covered in dust. Ever since I started working on this island, I've heard the story of a spirit called Beatrice-sama from several coworkers. In the beginning, I thought it was ridiculous, but since it would appear indiscreet to say anything out loud, outwardly, I conducted myself as though I also believed it. But could it really? She existed. Beatrice-sama was in this mansion all along, but she lost her powers and wasn't able to appear before us. She did exist all this time. It's just that we couldn't see her. So I'm gonna take some water real quick. Okay, I'm back. I'd like to hear Genji-san's opinion. I have no opinion. All I want to say is that, at that time, there were 5 of us in this room. Then I thought that Canon had returned through the back door. After that, we carried him to the servant room. Something happened, and now Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa will never come back to us. That is all. We have already explained everything we saw. I understand how unreasonable it would be to try and force belief from one who didn't witness those events, such as yourself. How could he believe it? I was sure it was Kanen-san, but it got up from the bed. And that's right, when it started to grope about that wound in its chest in that manner. Felt sure that it wasn't Kanen-san, but something else. I doubt you'll be able to understand, George-sama, the terror of that moment, when the person I thought I knew well exposed that it was in fact someone else entirely. I can't explain. Can't explain it at all. I understand. I can tell that whatever happened, it was terrifying enough to give you such a shock. Thank you very much, George-sama. And they all fell silent again. Shannon kept crying no matter how many times she was consoled, thinking that listening to the witch's sweet whispers and breaking the spirit mirror on that day had been the mistake that ruined everything. The witch who whispered these things to you loses her powers if that mirror exists, right? I think she explained it to me a little, but I don't really remember. I think she said something about how she couldn't release her power as long as that mirror existed. What happened to this mirror that you broke? I don't remember. I left it behind when I broke it, so it's probably just how I left it. So when, as they say, the reef was struck by lightning and disappeared, it must have sank to the bottom of the ocean. Well, I doubt picking it up and taping it together would make it start working again. Ha 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 ha. What have I done? Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. He didn't know if Shannon breaking the mirror really had started all this off. Though the servants didn't blame Shannon, they all seemed to believe that her actions had been the root cause. But even now, George wasn't able to go that far. All this talk about witches and evil spirits just sounded fake to him, even though he was trying to be open-minded. Even so, he listened seriously to Shannon's story, trying to find a hint that might relieve at least a little of the pain in her heart. Come to think of it, though it's surely different from the one in the Torii, I have heard that Madame keeps a spirit mirror as a charm. Really? Well, no, I mean, that's the line, but also... I felt like... Didn't we see this in the first chapter? Because she gave it to Jessica, or no? I can't recall. Really? Not Natsuhi? Yes. I believe she received that as a memento from her grandfather or something, and that it functioned as a powerful ward against magic. A spirit mirror of a high pedigree, I think. I have also heard the same story. Something about the mirror having the power to reflect that which is not good and send it back. The bullet. If we had that spirit mirror, could we resist Beatrice since she's a witch? Huh? When George proposed this, the servants looked up. The shrine and the torii where it was kept are gone now, but the important thing is that there's still another spirit mirror. I've heard that Natsuhi's family is descended from Shinto priests. Maybe that isn't just a simple mirror. I'm sure I've heard Madame say she keeps it in a treasure box. Might not be very large. I don't think its size is a problem. Even the mirror I broke was just a small, insignificant looking thing. If our opponent is a cult, then we'll have to use the occult to fight back. Sitting around here won't solve anything. It's worth trying, if only for some peace of mind. Of course, this didn't mean George had accepted the witch. However, he thought it'd be necessary to have some kind of purification ceremony to heal the wounds in Shannon's heart. So the story about Natsuhi's spirit mirror was really convenient. Let's go. I won't say anything crazy like, let's go get it and finish off the witch. However, I think it'd be useful to have some sort of charm that could protect us from her. Maria-chan told me about it earlier, that the door to grandfather's room was supposed to be able to repel magic, right? That's our grandfather for you. It means he was pretty good on defense when it comes to the occult. Let's go. To Aunt Natsuhi's room. But I think Madame's room is locked. We returned the master keys to Rosa-sama. And even the key box in the servant room is now locked away. In that case, Aunt Natsuhi should have had a key on her person. And Aunt Natsuhi's corpse should still be in the chapel. We probably shouldn't be disturbing it before the police come, but we can give a full explanation later. However, the entrance to the chapel is also locked. Goda-san, can't you break a single glass window with your physical strength? You could smash it with a nearby rock. Would it, really be okay to break the window of that important chapel? When grandfather gets mad at us, I'll take responsibility. From the beginning, I've been ready to fight the whole Ushiramiya family today. I've got to get them to accept my engagement to you. So, I've been prepared from the start. Let's break the glass. Then let's borrow the key from Aunt Natsuhi's corpse. George's announcement that he'd take responsibility seemed to have given the servants a great deal of courage. Shannon and Goda looked at each other, then looked at George's face again. Grandfather knows everything about the occult. I'm sure he'll understand if it's the power of Aunt Natsuhi's spirit mirror we're talking about. Don't worry, he won't get mad at you. I wonder if Madame's mirror will really be able to seal the Uchi-sama once again. I don't know, but I think it's worth trying. So let's go. It's getting darker and darker outside. Quickly. Shannon, get a flashlight. Koda-san, find something that looks like it can break the glass. Sorry, Genji, but can you be on umbrella duty? Yes, sir. The servants, who had been rejected by Rosa, gained a new master and started to move. George, who was normally calm and gentle, was now radiating dignity. Shannon checked the emergency flashlight, just in case she changed the batteries. Goda was testing several heavy-looking cooking tools. Normally a highly praised chef like him would want to use them for something other than their intended purpose. But now he was frantic to fulfill the orders of the ones he accepted as his master. After some worrying, he took a large, thick-feeling frying pan. Genji removed several umbrellas from the umbrella stand set in the corner near the kitchen door. He took 3 of them. Genji-san, I cannot go with you. It would be embarrassing for me, as the head servant of the Ushiramiya family, if we were all gone when an order is given. But Genji-san, even you must understand how dangerous it is to be alone in this mansion now. I cannot go. I must remain here, so that the master can call for me at any time. Genji-sama, go, and obey George-sama. Be careful not to make any blunders. Goda, I'm counting on you to set an example. Yes, leave it to me. I will surely fulfill my duty. You're sure about this, right, Genji-san? Yes, I'm already at this age. All the days of my life until now have been spent repaying the debt I owe the master. The roulette will decide the fate of a senile old man like myself. I will sit here and see what the result will be with my own eyes. As Genji said that, he sat down. As though saying that he didn't intend to discuss this anymore, his gaze fell to the chessboard that he played mahjong. When George saw this, he decided to leave Genji there. Let's go, everyone. Looks like the wind has died down a bit for now. When George took an umbrella and dashed down the hallway, Shannon and Goda chased after him, each holding a tool. After they flew out of the room, Genji quietly stretched his hand out to the side of the chessboard. He softly pulled something there towards himself, covering it with his palm. Genji killed his breathing even more than before. As he did, something flashed gold. What? From inside an ice pail set in the counter, a small gold butterfly appeared, softly and silently. It was almost as though it had seen George and the rest off, and was trying to secretly chase after them. What? It happened in an instant. The elegant gold butterfly, flapping its wings, was pinned against the wall by the knife Genji threw, just like a butterfly in a bug collection. After the gold butterfly beat its wings several times, looking like it was in pain, it accepted the fact that it couldn't break free, became fine gold powder and smoke, and disappeared as though it had melted into water. Genji still gazed down at the chessboard as though nothing had happened. Maybe he would think of a brilliant move very soon. But no matter what move he made, his opponent would not be able to respond for all eternity. Even though he knew that, Genji searched for a brilliant move. It must have been the perfect way to kill time during the short period before some fate would be given to him. Didn't know what result the roulette would bring about, but that decision would be made very soon. No one could interfere with the tumbling roulette ball. The door to the parlor was not only locked, but blocked with a barricade made of sofas and the like. Because of that, Aunt Rosa seemed to suspect that any suspicious person approaching would break in through the window. Sitting on a one-person sofa, her back to the door, she continued to hold on to her gun. Didn't know what was what anymore. Even though my body and mind were worn out, I played with Maria as she wanted. Maria had said it. Beatrice was testing us to see if we could solve the epitaph of the gold, so we had to try and figure out this riddle. In the beginning, I was a little interested and tried to solve it, but I didn't have a clue where to start in this weird text. I didn't doubt that there was some riddle hidden there, but I seriously doubted I'd be able to suddenly leap to an answer. In the middle part of the epitaph, there were the lines going from the first to the 10th twilight, telling us the journey to the golden line. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the keys as sacrifices. In the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. It was obvious that this hinted at the first 6 murders that had already occurred in the chapel, and Jessica and Ken-kun's murders. If this was being followed, we still had to be prepared for 5 more people to be killed. On the 4th twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the 5th twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the 6th twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the 7th twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the 8th twilight, gouge the leg and kill. Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa Bachan's corpses still haven't been found. However, if this follows a pattern that they're the sacrifices for the 4th and 5th twilights, they'll surely be found in a pitiful state with their head and chest gouged. So can we expect that 3 more of us will be gouged in the stomach, knee, and leg and killed? Who will it be? I looked around the room, noticing that there were 3 people here, but how should I put it? My emotions seemed paralyzed. Strangely, I didn't feel frightened. As I leaned against the sofa with the top part of my body, gazing up at the ceiling, Maria noticed. Apparently, she felt I was slacking off in my riddle solving. She got mad at me for not taking this seriously enough. Hey, Maria. Who? What was it again that Beatrice said she'd do if we solved this? I'm sure the witch wrote in her letter that she'd given up on collecting interest or something abstract like that. I optimistically took that to mean she'd give up on killing the whole family. But was it really written with that meaning? For some reason, I couldn't convince myself that solving the riddle would really save me. I feel like maybe, even if we do solve it, we'll just be doing what the culprit wants, and it'll all be a wasted effort. No, that's not true. If you solve the epitaph, Beato's ceremony will end. So, after that, no more people will die. Really? Isn't that rule just something she made up? Whoever solves the riddle, he'll probably learn the location of Grandfather's hidden gold. Then she'll definitely go after it and... Ooh, she won't go after it. How can you be so sure? The gold has been Beatrice's from the beginning. She wouldn't go after something that's hers. Then why is Beatrice giving us all these big hints? Not just that, why did she even set up this game-like thing? Risk is essential for magic. Risk? I don't really know what you mean. For example, in a marathon, do you think a medal anyone can get by running the whole thing is worth the same as the medal given only to the person who gets first? No, I don't. So what does this mean? In the end, she's just playing with us? Purposefully giving us a chance? Wrong. That's how magic works. No matter how great a work of magic is, it'll always have risks and weak points. No, it must have them. I don't get the stuff you call magic. But if I think about it as a gamble, I can understand a little. If you aren't prepared to lose big, then you can't win big. And the slimmer the chances of winning, the bigger the payoff. That's right. And Beato really did explain the risk of the ceremony to everyone. So if this riddle is solved, the ceremony will be suspended. After all, if she breaks her promises, there wouldn't be any risk. If we solve this, will she really keep her promise? Why are flowers beautiful, even though they wither? Why is it that an artificial flower isn't beautiful, no matter how elaborate it is, even when you can't tell the difference by looking? Humans can bring about miracles by gambling on their deaths. If an undying human existed, I'd have no way of bringing about a miracle. That goes for us, life, the witch, and the ceremony too. If we don't bear a risk, we can't succeed in anything. What do we do if we solve the riddle? Should we raise a hand and cry, I got it? Tell the witch our answer and see what she says? Ooh, I don't know about that. But if we solve it, the ceremony will surely end automatically. You sure know a lot, Maria. Did you learn all of that from Beatrice? Ooh. So, if you don't bear a risk, nothing can be gained, isn't it? Is that it? Definitely is the way of the world, but it's sort of in conflict with the chessboard thinking I like so much. At least when making moves in chess, players grope for the best move, always trying to avoid risk and hoping for an advantageous turn of events. They don't trust chance, like in gambling. That's right. There's no room for gambling in an intellectual game. And yet, this person called Beatrice has created such an outrageous crime, or maybe a ceremony, while purposefully imposing conditions of her own loss and announcing them to us. In chess, you always play your best move, so by putting yourself in your opponent's position, you can predict their next move. However, we can't be sure that Beatrice's moves are always the best moves possible. I thought she was probably making us focus on the epitaph to fool us in some way, speaking in riddles. But according to Maria, that alone was impossible. She said this was a genuine risk that She said that this was a genuine risk that the witch had taken, and therefore proof that this was a formal ceremony for magic. I can't understand this witch called Beatrice. If she's committing this chain of murders with some goal in mind, why did she go to all the trouble of exposing the conditions for her defeat? No matter how I spin the chessboard around and think from my opponent's perspective, I can't understand why she'd give up if this riddle is solved. Isn't it almost as though Beatrice doesn't care whether she wins or loses? Of course, chessboard reasoning won't work against an opponent like that. I don't understand. What is Beatrice after that's making her carry out this crime? If she just wanted to massacre us all, she could have done it quietly, without this whole crazy setup. There is no need for that kind-hearted advance notice, all this self-aware closed room stuff, or any of the rest. It's all overacting. I've got no clue what it means. Will I be unable to understand everything, as long as I keep thinking of Beatrice as a greedy human culprit? If I don't accept her as a witch, will my chessboard thinking be stuck before I've even lined up the pieces? If she really is the witch, and everything Maria said is true, then there's only one thing for us to do. The theory building and discord and searching for the culprit has all been pointless. We should have all gathered in the dining hall, combining our knowledge to solve the riddle. By combining the knowledge of that many people, we might have been able to grasp at least the thread of the answer. The greedy humans, each desiring to gain something over their opponents, were getting offered up as sacrifices one by one, without gathering their knowledge together. In the end, did the humans get what they deserved? They thought they were using their brains, but they were actually thinking only of their greedy selves. But I'm thinking, isn't Kinzo the one that set this all up? Because it's his goal to revive Beatrice. So, I don't know. In the end, chessboard theory is a thinking technique where you project yourself on your opponent. So greedy people see their greedy selves inside their opponents. I looked lazily at Aunt Rosa. She was probably tired from being under all this tension the whole time. She couldn't sleep, but she kept staring vaguely at some point off in space. Aunt Rosa had announced that we couldn't trust anyone who hadn't been killed. Aunt Rosa's chessboard thinking saw herself inside her opponent. In other words, maybe Aunt Rosa was an isolated woman, unable to trust anyone and unable to let her guard down. Long ago, I think I heard a bit about it from my dad. Aunt Rosa was originally a very obedient child, but her age was too far separated from the other siblings, and they often made conflicting demands of her during their confrontations. Thanks to this, she'd undergone a lot of psychologically harsh experiences in her youth. I'm just relating. Often, when she copied one of her siblings, another sibling would give her a hard time. True, Aunt Rosa said many things today that could be taken as abusive. But that means those words were once showered upon her, which is why they were engraved in her vocabulary. The main abusive words that she's spoken were also words that she'd been showered with in the past. Now that I think about it, I've had the feeling that her style of speech sometimes has traces of Uncle Kraus or Aunt Ava in it. I'd understood it as them being similar because they were siblings, but maybe it wasn't just that. For the first time, I truly sympathized with Aunt Rosa, what I always assumed was just quiet and gentle. Then what about Maria? Maria's been making a certain claim for a while now. If we can solve the riddle the witch displayed to us, the ceremony will be halted, and we'll definitely be saved. I think she also said that Beatrice will never break a promise. But this is Maria we're talking about. She herself never breaks promises, and she has the most innocent heart. So she believes Beatrice also won't break her promises. She's able to believe that. But isn't that just an image of Beatrice in Maria's mind? There's no proof that the real Beatrice always keeps her promises, right? I keep my promises. If you solve the riddle of the epitaph, you should be able to reach the golden mine. When you do, the ceremony will end. Okay. Sorry, I was checking email. No more people will die. So you're saying a complete monster like you follows the rules? Won't deny that I am brutal and unjust and a monster. However, I am a witch. I use magic. In order to use magic, there are some rules that must be followed. Because I'm a witch, I cannot neglect those. You should believe at least that much. So even after all the crazy stuff you've done, you're still telling me to believe at least in the rules? I do play tricks. Of course, I also deceive people. I'm no different from humans in that regard. But not once have I disregarded a promise I've spoken. What about humans? Do you always keep your promises? Since we have catchphrases like keep your promises, it's hard to imagine that we always follow them properly. From my perspective, humans are the truly selfish monsters. There's nothing as dubious as a human's promise. Even I sometimes make contracts with humans, but you wouldn't imagine how strict an agreement must be made just to grant a single foolish wish. There's even a small loophole. They'll immediately say something like, increase the number of wishes to 100, or go turn yourself into a bean. There's this thing Dad always says. He says there's nothing as scary as contracts. According to him, it's only natural that people who sign without reading them thoroughly will get chewed to the bone. Just made a killing through vice. Imagine it. When people are born, they know nothing of fraud. They get it from somewhere, and so they learn it. Yes, the crimes of the human world where people must press up against each other. Let me see, I've heard that from a witch somewhere. Oh well. I'm not as heartless as you think, you see. Cackle, cackle, cackle. Liar! You've killed so many people, and you did it in such horrible ways too. How could you not be heartless? You say you keep your promises? Don't say stuff like that. I won't accept you, ever. I believe my only way to resist you is never giving up on that. I see. So you're saying this eternal torture will be the same for me? Cackle, 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 cackle. Perhaps. 1,000 years is a long time. Maybe a witch's true strength is decided not by their magical power, but by the strength of their endurance. Yes, I can accept how terrifying Lady Byrne is. Oh. Damn you, babbling on and on about this incomprehensible stuff. Let's quickly get back to this eternal torture. Yeah, okay. I'm prepared to stick around for 1,000 years, or even 10,000 years. Cackle, cackle. Good. Looks like you've regained some of your will to fight. It'll be boring otherwise. Come now. Don't you often see it in competitive games? Sometimes one player intrudes on their opponent's territory, but the opponent is so weak that it's a bit of an anticlimax, so the first player loses on purpose to extend the game until the last round, during which they get serious and shower their opponent with blows, right? I don't get what that means. It's the same as wine. If you don't let it age well, it won't sparkle. You're the same as that wine. I'll carefully make you age. I'll raise you to be the best alcohol to adorn my elegant time. Just don't give up after only this much. Keep on denying me. After all, as long as you don't accept me, I'm nothing more than a fleeting illusion. Cackle, cackle, cackle. Okay. Cackle times 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16? 15? I don't know. 15 or 16. I want to count again. $15. No matter how many times I see it, it's awful. I truly sympathize. Shannon-san, please get the key. Even though she is dead, Madame is a lady. I cannot touch her. Of course. Shannon nodded sharply, her expression filled with a sense of duty. George, Goda, and Shannon had broken a suitable window and were inside the chapel. Since they really hadn't wanted to break one, they'd searched for another way in, just in case. But in the end, after proving once again that there was nowhere they could slip in through, it only became more obvious that this chapel was a mysterious closed room. Inside the chapel, time had stopped ever since the last time they had left it. Even George wasn't able to approach that gruesome Halloween party again. It was only natural. It reminded him again of the sadness of losing both parents at once. It's okay, you can become Batman now. And Goda, think of the possibility that those corpses might have changed in some horrible way now that half a day had passed, didn't want to let George get near them. Shannon followed Goda's instructions and approached the party table. Normally, Shannon might have resented having another dirty job forced on her. But now, she could truly understand Goda's mental state. Even though Goda had prodigious skill, he'd gotten dragged into trouble, losing his job and ending up left out in the streets before Natsuhi gave him a new life. Oh? Though it had been just a casual employment decision for Natsuhi, Goda must have thought it a turning point in his fate. Those around Goda could see that he felt a special kind of loyalty to Natsuhi. So it is Natsuhi and Goda. Maybe, I don't know. So he probably didn't want to lose that feeling, even after her death. Now that half a day had passed, the bodies of Natsuhi and the rest had changed completely. Small bugs sniffing out the smell of death had started to gather. It really wasn't something you'd want to look at directly. Madame, excuse me. Because of her long experience as a servant, Shannon had an idea of which pocket Natsuhi kept the key to her room in. It would probably be this pocket. Her guess didn't fail her. Just by touching the outside of the pocket, she was immediately able to feel it. It's here. The key to Madame's room. Shannon held the key up high, showing the others that it had been found. As George and Goda watched her, their eyes open wide. That wasn't the expression Shannon was expecting, so it startled her. Oh shit. Oh. After all, Shannon hadn't noticed. George and Goda, watching from afar, noticed it first. After all, when Shannon held the key up high, a blizzard of gold leaf had seeped up from around the table. They were countless gold butterflies. It was the first time George had seen them, so it might have looked like some kind of illusion. But Goda already knew. He knew that those gold butterflies were far from beautiful, and that they would bring about some kind of misfortune. And that gold swell trying to suck Shannon in. Shannon-san! Run! Huh? Kya? Shannon also realized that gold butterflies were trying to swallow her up. She ran unsteadily, her expression still shocked. As she did, the gold butterflies danced around her all at once. They grouped together. They tried to swallow her up. Shannon! Damn it, what is this? Are these the gold butterflies you guys were talking about? Outside, quickly! You bastards! Damn it, damn it! George and Goda rushed up to Shannon, driving off the cloud of butterflies. And while the butterflies were scattered, they ran towards the broken window. However, they didn't need a good footing to get out the window, which was surrounded by shards of broken glass. When they'd entered, there had been enough time to prepare for that, and now there was none. Let's go out through the door. There's no time to look for a footing. It won't open. It's stuck. Give it to me. Damn this piece of crap. George-sama, quickly. Damn it, don't take me lightly. Whoa! Goda took off its jacket, swinging it around and scattering a group of butterflies. But saying he was outnumbered would be a real understatement. It was doubtful that it even bought them a short amount of time. George struggled with the broken handle. Its age showed and it didn't turn well. Can't leave it to strength. It needs the right angle, or there's some trick to it. George-sama! Damn it! You monsters! At that moment, Goda saw it. He was seen by it. In other words, their eyes met. On top of the party table. No, with the stained glass behind it. Floating, laughing, was the figure of the witch. He saw the figure of the laughing witch in the center of the golden whirlwind, with the gold butterflies fluttering about at the ready. Beatrice. It should have been Goda's first meeting with her, but he knew her at a glance. Just like the other servants had said, this was certainly the witch of the portrait herself. It's almost time for dinner, is it not? I'm the host of this mansion now, so I must give you a warm reception before your wonderful dinner. And look, we even have 3 people fit to order. My, how truly convenient. Oh? It's open. Goda-san, quickly. Beatrice-sama. Huh? Are you sure it's a good idea to just stand there? If you think this place will make a fitting cemetery for yourselves, then be my guest. Kako. I must praise your spirit for wanting to stay by your former master's sides and serve them even after death. The golden whirlwind that wrapped around the witch burst. It was like an evil... Oh shit, I like this track. It was like an evil hand that had literally spread its fingers and was trying to attack them. The cloud of gold butterflies attacked with a fluttering sound. Hurry! Can't stay here! George's voice brought Shannon and Goda back to their senses. Standing here now would make them like frogs getting stared down by a snake. They had to resist. They had to fight this incarnation of the new, brutal, and frightening order in which Akajima had been enveloped. There was no mistake to take out their impulse. The 3 of them dashed out in the pouring rain. The 3 of them never realized because they didn't turn around. But the gold butterflies apparently couldn't handle the rain too well. and this hampered their ability to chase after the humans. 3 people ran from the golden pursuers and fled into the mansion. Cackle, 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 cackle. How nice, how nice. Wouldn't be as fun any other way. They unlocked the door and dashed into the room. But if the scent from Natsu's favorite gentle incense remained in there. However, there was no time to let that calm them now. Hold on, I'm distracted. Okay, I see. So there's rumors. Oh, shit. Oh? Hold on, I got another email. Hold on. Oh. Okay. I guess we'll figure it out. This is a bad time to get distracted, but anything to listen to this song more, I guess. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Decisions. Okay. Alright, let's go back to the game. Sorry. Bit of the scent from Natsu's favorite gentle incense remained there. However, there was no time to let them calm down. Where is it? Where is it? I said it was in a treasure box, right? This is a story I heard. I never heard exactly where it was. I think it'll probably be in her dresser or next to the bed. Shannon's womanly sensibilities led her to conclude that. Next to the bed, there was only an incense burning, a half-read novel, and glasses. However, the dresser was elegant and had many drawers, and it would be understandable if she'd kept some of her valuables there. Oh, Natsu, sorry. He began to violently open each one of the drawers. He had to hurry. He couldn't actually hear footsteps, but he had the feeling that the witch was approaching. He had the feeling that her laugh was approaching. He entered the drawers one by one and examined their contents. Every small box for makeup looked like a treasure box. The amount of effort it would take to inspect all of them made him feel a little dizzy. Maybe it's this box. It's locked and I can't open it. At a glance, it looked slightly larger than a music box. When shaken, it rustled, so various small objects were inside. But it was locked and didn't open. Normally you'd hide the key somewhere nearby, though some people would always carry it on their person. I don't know. There's no choice. Break it. Well, we can't do it with force, right? Might break the mirror inside? Could there be a tool to pry it open? Damn it. Goda looked all over the room, trying to see if there was some tool that they could use. And he noticed the door, which had been left open ever since they entered. He approached the door and closed it, and saw the abominable shadows of people approaching from beyond the darkness in the hall. Monka! No, it wasn't shadows of people, because they weren't human at all. George-sama! Hurry! Goda's voice trailed off. It was the shock of seeing a procession of those not of this world. He was a servant, so he knew all the servants working for the Ushiramiya family, but he didn't know about bees. However, they were definitely servants. Not servants working for Ushiromiya Kenzo or Ushiromiya Kraus. Oh hey, Buck Boys. These new servants work for the new master of the mansion, the Golden Witch Beatrice. Had goat heads and bright red, boiled eyes of lava. As the new master laughed loudly and trimly directed 6 of the new servants, he saw them approach, piercing the darkness as they came. Of course, she was clad in the gold butterflies that were her symbol. Goda hurriedly closed the door and locked it. However, just as he locked it, it returned to normal, just as though a spring or something had knocked it back. Oh god. Gave the illusion that some prankster beyond the door was unlocking it every time he locked it. I couldn't have reached the other side of the door yet. So who was doing it, and how? It almost felt like playing with a broken toy. Click, boing. Click, boing. Wow! It won't lock. Even if I lock it, it unlocks. What's going on? Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it! Did you think a lock would stop me? Did you think the door to that room could hold back that room's new master? It was like the witch could see Goda's frantic effort through the door. Even now, the footsteps continued to approach. And when not just their footsteps, but even their breath could be heard. Goda gave up on the lock and slammed into the door, locking it using his own large body. George-san, quickly, quickly, quickly! George-san, what about this? A letter opener? It's better. Let me have it. Fountain pen isn't working. George took it and once again dug into the crack under the lid of the treasure box. Looks like it's working. Quickly, quickly! Eep! Wah! The pressure from across the door grew even stronger. Goda screamed. This wasn't a war cry during a test of strength. He was terrified. He was simply terrified that nothing but a single wooden door was stopping him from touching something out of this world. But he's still lucky. He wasn't touching the thing directly, because they were on the other side of the door. So if he were to touch them directly, Goda's cry would surely turn from something brave to a pathetic, piercing scream, and therefore one that was more real. Goda couldn't believe what was happening right before his eyes. Coming through the door, an armless, slipping straight through the wood like it was water, as though doing this was the most natural thing in the world. And it rubbed the back of Goda's hands as he frankly tried to hold the door shut. It slid up his arm, to his chest, and then up to his chin. By now, Goda's scream wasn't even audible anymore. You could hear a sweet whispering voice from across the door. It wasn't coming from a witch, but it sounded like a young woman. However, that didn't change the fact that it came from someone not of this world. Giggle giggle. So cute. Hey, you see it, right? Your life flashing before your eyes? Let me know when it's over, Kay. Eep! Thanks. It's over already, isn't it? Giggle giggle. Oh god. Well, rip Goda. That lewd arm burst. Then they heard the sound of something jumping around the room at incredible speed. They didn't know what it was. Incredibly fast, small, like steel, maybe a beetle. When it buried itself right in the center of Goda's chest and stopped, they realized for the first time that its true form was something like a stake with a strange design on it. Goda's large body shook, bent backwards, and fell over. As it did, the door opened softly, even though no one was pushing it, welcoming in the new master of this room. It looked almost as though the door itself had accepted her. goat attendants came in one after another, 6 of them. Then that witch came in, and the gold butterflies came in. The room was wrapped in a blizzard of gold leaf, which fell and piled up, turning it more and more into a world of gold. It's like Battler's not seeing any of this, so it's like, should I take this as true? Shannon, Roulette has chosen George. Thank me for your day of release. Do you have any regrets? You don't, do you? Receiving an engagement ring from the man you fell for, and then being killed before spending your first night together. That hardly counts as a regret at all, right? You wanted him to hold you, didn't you? You wanted him to teach you a woman's joy, right? No, Shannon, you're dribbling, see? Your regret is dripping down from your mouth. I can see it dribbling down from your mouth. Shannon? Crack. There's the sound of the lid to the treasure box breaking open. When George turned it over, accessories, charms, various small objects that Natsu had treasured when she was a girl fell out. Mixed in with that was a pouch that stood out from the rest. He picked it up and was immediately sure. This was it. I found it. This is it. So close, and yet so far. Crackle, cackle, 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 cackle. Die. Damn it. All at once, the gold butterflies attacked George, who was hurriedly trying to remove the contents of the pouch. Oh? The heck? At that time, bright red flash seemed to light up the room for an instant. That red flash seemed to cut a hole in the cloud of gold butterflies raging around the room, drawing a circle with Shannon at the center. So, the resulting scene looked truly divine, almost as though a single streak of light had cut through the clouds in this world of gold. George, who was curled in a ball, trying to protect himself from the group of butterflies, didn't have a clue what was going on. Oh? Then, he noticed that Shannon was standing guard in front of him, shielding him, as she glared at the witch and the rest with a serious face she'd never shown him before. I'd forgotten. You're another sample of Kinzo's outstanding furniture. You've matured much more than Kennen. How could you do that to Kennen-kun? I don't mean killing him. How could you erase his remains? Even try to disgrace his honor? Come now, Shannon. Is that why you're mad? If you're lonely because Kennen hasn't been around, just let me know, and I'll let you see him whenever you like. When the witch snapped her fingers, one of the 6 goat attendants glittered gold and changed into Kennen. It was definitely a sight to make one doubt their eyes. It was definitely Kennen's face. However, in those eyes, the glint of Kennen's integrity was nowhere to be seen. They were the hazy eyes of furniture that only obeyed the orders of the witch. George couldn't understand the scene right before his eyes. He finally understood why Goda and the rest had been unable to talk about what they'd seen in the servant room. Are you enjoying this? Yes, I am. It's always fun to reunite a pair that have been torn apart by death. After all, I get to enjoy tearing them apart by death, reuniting them, and then tearing them apart again. So, Kennen, go and play with your sister. If she knocks you about, let her see you suffer with all the anguish you can manage. Cackle, 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 cackle. From the imposter Kennen's arm, a strangely shining curve extended. He planned to tear Shannon apart with that. With a single stroke, he would attack Shannon, who still hadn't prepared her heart, and... I won't forgive you. I'll never forgive you for dishonoring the dead, not just once, but twice. Enough babbling. Go get killed by your brother, Shannon. I'm sure you'll bear witness to a wonderful dream. guess she's dead. The imposter cannon certainly seemed to lunge at Shannon, drawing several purple curves. But when he flew at her, it was as though some kind of invisible wall had been placed in front of her. The wall repelled the imposter, leaving a bright red ripple on its surface. No, it didn't repel him, it smashed him. Knocked him back, turning him into golden dust, into little bits, scattering him. That foolish furniture, who had taken Cannon's form, even to grace this honor after death, broke into countless gold butterflies. And then those butterflies themselves broke into pieces, and those pieces were broken into pieces, until they were no longer butterflies, but a golden splash that faded away. Shannon. George-san, please, don't move from that spot. I don't want to shift the central axis. The heck? Well, this is certainly a surprise. So, though your face makes it look as though you wouldn't hurt a fly, you can display such power. I see, so that spirit mirror is lending you strength. But you don't have the tools or the time to draw out its true power. I won't let you have either of those. Cackle. The spirit mirror George gripped had let out a divine glow, displaying a strength powerful enough not to submit to wicked forces. That glow is no match for the witch's sinister nature. This is why furniture can be frightening. That feeling, like unexpectedly stubbing your little toe in the corner of a cabinet. It's not a pleasant feeling. Yes, this is why furniture can be frightening. You, furniture. Furniture. I am not furniture. Right now, you seem very pitiful to me. What? Huh. What did this furniture, who hasn't lived even 100 years, just say to a 1,000-year-old witch? You're a very pitiful person. Of course, two people in love will have regrets when they're separated. But they'll feel none of the kind of regret you're hoping for. You dare to speak, furniture? Have you forgotten the days when you were so desperate to be tied to George that you licked my shoes? Living with love and crawling through the muck is what humans do. If you sneer and look down on them for that, then you're far inferior to them. Especially now, I pity you. How precious is it for a loving couple when they bring their love to fruition by sleeping together on the first night? Is it? Wait, what? It does have meaning. It definitely does. Because I'm thinking like one night stands, I'm like, what? But it's completely different from what you're saying. It means something so sacred that one such as you has no right to speak of it wickedly. So I no longer have any regrets. George-san and I have sworn our love to each other. As proof, I accepted his ring. With that, our eternal vows were completed. No matter how you torture us with your wicked magic and your malice, you cannot disgrace eternity. Oh? Huh. Don't speak in cheap ideals like some poet. Love is lust, totally meaningless unless you're sleeping together. Men are mere flies and maggots that get drawn to your female scent and crowd around you. Do you still not understand that at your age, you'll despair the very first time you witness the dark lusts of that glasses man behind you? You'll be crushed, shocked, dumbfounded, stupefied, and it's all useless, Shannon. Hee ha ha. Yeah, that's enough talk out of you. You furniture. Who the hell do you think you are, talking like that? No matter how beautiful you try to make love sound, in the end it's a fraud because love is filthy filth. Don't people become adults when they realize that? Die, you trash, furniture, scrap. I'll turn you into a filthy maggot. Then we'll see whether that glasses guy still loves you. I'll show you that this guy's only had his eyes on your flesh. Die, you piece of crap. Don't you tell me about love. I want to see this animated. The invisible column of light, with Shanna at the center, started to have bright red ripples drawn all over it at once. The wall did its best to withstand the unseeable malice that tried to corrode in on them from all directions. What? Do you actually think you're resisting? You're insignificant. You're frail, just like your cheap ideals. Just a frail pretense. You're just hiding what you don't want to see by covering it with a veil. Do you still not understand what that's why your furniture? You furniture. See? It's being erased. Crack, crunch, smack, snap. How thin, how shameful. Parmigiano Reggiano would be harder to cut through than your frail resistance. Parmigiano. Yeah. The golden windstorm that covered the room gradually began to shave the walls off the column that protected Shannon and George. The bright red ripples frantically drew a resisting pattern, but that just turned it into a red wall of despair and began to wrap the two of them up. George-san, I'm sorry. It was too much. For me. After all... Yeah, thank you. Fought for my sake. That alone makes me happy. The round wall that had once protected them was assaulted and covered with a curve of bright red ripples as it seemed to scream, and began to suck the two of them up instead. George-san. Okay. George-san, also, mouse is on screen. Can I ask you a favor? So what is that? Okay. Shannon grasped George's hand behind her, so George hugged her shoulders just as strongly. What is it? In the end, please, let me hear you say I love you. Yeah. Sayo. Oh, forever. God, that's so mean. 8 o'clock? 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Okay. Well, that's 3 deaths, so that's all 5, right? But who knows? So Kenzo, Battler, Rusa, Maria, and Genji, right? After Genji finished his late meal, he went out to do the nighttime rounds inside the mansion. He'd eaten some reheated soup that Goda had made, along with some random leftovers from the refrigerator. Those were all things Goda had made himself, and were of course delicious. He had half-heartedly gone to ask Rosa and the others what they would do for dinner, but he'd been yelled at by a voice telling him that the canned food that they had would be enough. The door wasn't even open for him. So ironically, the servant Genji was able to eat a more delicious meal. But why was it that Genji wasn't afraid to do the rounds all by himself? Even though all those crimes had been committed and many people had already met a brutal end. Judging by his appearance as he carried out his usual tasks without a trace of fear, so everything was normal, you might think all the horrible events that day had been no more than a dream or an illusion. Was he taking a philosophic view, or had he just accepted his fate? Genji must have considered it a virtue that, when the fate that awaited him was unavoidable, he carried out his duty systematically until the last moment. The depths of his heart probably remained hidden for all eternity, unless he spoke with them himself. He had returned his master key to Rosa, so the places he could reach were extremely limited. All he could do was walk around the hallways, checking to make sure all the windows were closed. That probably made his rounds go a lot faster than usual. At the sound of a reserved knock, Aunt Rosa, who had been falling into a doze, jumped and woke up, pointing the barrel of the gun at the door as she yelled. "Who is it?" I was napping on the sofa, and that voice also brought me back to reality. "Rosa-sama. It is I, Genji. Do you have some business? Don't worry about opening the door. Tell us from there." "Yes, ma'am. In that case, forgive me for speaking in this fashion. I have found Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa's corpses." "What did you say?" "I see. Very well. Let's go and check them. Until I see the corpses, I won't believe anyone." "Ooh, it's okay, Battler. If you stay with me, it'll definitely be okay." Maybe my face seemed to be darkened with anxiety. Maria grasped my hand with her small hand and spoke softly, trying to give me courage. Since it was Aunt Rosa's job to ready the gun and stand guard, it fell to me to remove the barricade of sofas. When I finished, I took a backwards glance at Aunt Rosa, who was pointing the barrel of the gun over my shoulder, and opened the door. "Genji-san, where are their corpses?" "In the courtyard. I shall guide you." "Battler-kun, wait. Just in case, let's check the doors and windows of this room. Wait a second." And Rosa called me to a halt to prevent me from going on ahead and began to carefully check the locks on each of the windows. But those locks had already been checked once. It felt kind of unpleasant, as though she suspected that I might have secretly unlocked them when she wasn't looking. No, maybe Aunt Rosa was right to be this cautious. Though it was called a courtyard, it wasn't really a pretty place you could take a walk in, like the Rose Garden. On the contrary, since it was surrounded by the mansion on all sides, it made you feel a little uncomfortable, so it was telling you that there would be no escape from this mansion, no matter where you tried to run. On the other hand, that meant that even though we could still hear the violent winds, the wind itself was blocked. Genji-san held out an umbrella, but Aunt Rosa ignored him. She was probably hinting that the gun took two hands, and it would be dangerous if she took the umbrella. It didn't need Genji-san pointing for us to notice. Right in the center of the courtyard, we could see where Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san lay. Aunt Rosa entered the courtyard without even opening an umbrella. So Genji and I also entered the courtyard without opening one. Only Maria opened hers. "Maria, is this, you know what?" "Ooh, it's the 7th and 8th twilights." I see. Wait, 7th and 8th? That time, it had a weapon shaped like a stake rammed into his knee. 7th twilight was finished. The corpse, which is kind of missing, was later found in the courtyard. Onto its ankle. Wait, so... knee, ankle... That's weird. Okay. I see. Certainly, just as Genji-san and the others said, there are horrible wounds on their necks. The cuts are quite sharp, almost as though they were sliced with a katana or something. Those gaping wounds on their necks definitely made me want to avert my eyes, but after seeing that Halloween party in the chapel, even though they looked horrible, they were no longer enough to make me feel sick. More importantly, our gazes fell to their legs. It makes me wonder if it's the same way as the first episode. More importantly, our gazes fell to their legs, to Dr. Nanja's knee, to Kumasawa-san's ankle. Driven into... I mean, the spot's different, but is it the same... like Twilight? That's what I meant. Because I remember for the leg one, it was like the thigh, I think. Driven into each of them was something like a knife or a stake with a demonic design. They must have been the same as the thing that had pierced Jessica's back. What is this? It's just like what happened to Jessica-chan. Is this supposed to be some kind of occult ceremony, I wonder? I do not know. The last time I saw their bodies, there was nothing like these. Maybe it was done after they were carried out of the servant room. The one stuck into Dr. Nanjo's knee was still standing erect. The one that had been thrust into Kumasawa-san's ankle might have been a little shallower. It had come out and fallen over. So by looking at the one that had fallen over for the first time, I realized that it wasn't a knife, but something like a stake. Its full length was probably about 30 centimeters. But before it was 25 centimeters. It was probably made out of bronze or iron or something of the sort. Even without touching it, I could tell it had some weight to it. It was composed of a grip and a cone-shaped part, and it was obviously made to be a piercing weapon. Maybe it was like a miniature version of those lances Western knights used on horseback. The spiral-shaped ditches in it made it also look like a small drill. However, the grip had an occult design modeled off a demon or something. So instead of a weapon used in war, it felt like something that would be used in a ceremony to offer up living sacrifices. There's no mistake. They're meant to be sacrifices. On the 7th Twilight, gouge the head, gouge the knee and kill. On the 8th Twilight, gouge the leg and kill. Wait a sec. That means they've left out the 4th, 5th, and 6th Twilights. Could it be? Of course. Why is Genji-san alone? If something like this happened, why aren't George and Ikki and Goto-san and Shen here? Why was Genji-san alone? What's going on? Where did George-kun and the other two go? They said they wanted to search for something in Madame Natsuhi's room, and they left. They have not returned yet. What did you say? You say they left? But when was that? 2 or 3 hours ago, I believe. No way! Why didn't you tell us something that... Wait, no. Why didn't you think that was suspicious? There must be at least one servant on standby at all times. It was my duty to wait for orders until they returned. Is Genji-san really this much of a robot? This is bad. This is bad. It's really bad. Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san were killed like this, which means that 3 people have already been killed. He ran towards Aunt Natsuhi's room, with a touch of anxiety and just as much resignation. Before we even saw the inside of Aunt Natsuhi's room, we were forced to resign ourselves to a certain fact. On that door was a bizarre scribble. No, filth? Anyway, the room wasn't in an ordinary state, and even without even opening the door, we could imagine what we'd find inside. On the face of the door, how should I say it? Handprints, done heavily with the same red paint as the magic circles from before. I'd banged on the door, scratched at it, dirtied it. Looked like the aftermath of a kindergartner playing in the mud. Didn't know what it could mean. The bright red paint that had been slathered on was dripping down, even though no one said it, made us think of blood. Genji-san, please open it. Aunt Rosa held her gun up high and ordered Genji-san to open the door. Genji-san approached it without seeming particularly troubled by that stuff on it, and turned the knob, but immediately turned around, shaking his head. It was locked. At that moment, There was only one person in this mansion who could lock and unlock doors at will. Aunt Rosa. This time, Kanji-san asked Aunt Rosa to unlock the door, instead of the other way around. After frowning slightly for a second, Aunt Rosa handed me a master key and told me to open the door. Palu-kun, would you open it for me with this? Just trusting Genji-san with something like that wouldn't... Aunt Rosa glared at me intensely. Getting into a fight here would only make the mood turn even more sour. Without talking back anymore, I approached that creepy door and tried the knob. It didn't open. It was definitely the resistance of the lock. I stuck the master key into the keyhole. Plunk. There was a slight resistance. Aunt Rosa told me to be on my guard, and I opened the door without really guarding myself in any way. And then, there was a scene laid out before us that didn't betray my expectations at all. Horrible. As I thought, it's a reproduction of the 4th, 5th, and 6th Twilights. Ooh. The inside of the room looked as though a robber had just broken in. Drawers had been flung open, pulled out, and had their contents thrown about all over the place, leaving the room so cluttered you'd never believed it belonged to the methodical Aunt Natsuki. The very first thing that caught our eyes was Goda-san's corpse lying face down right in front of the door. Right in the center of his chest, almost as though he'd been stuck there to finish off a vampire, was one of those demon stakes from before. Exactly how far could I have reached after being stuck that deeply into his chest? Just imagining it would make anyone's chest hurt. Wasn't gouging the chest the 5th Twilight? Ooh. Mira grabbed my hand. Her expression looked just like normal. But maybe she really was afraid of the aura in this room, where the 3 corpses lay. And along the wall farthest into the room, Jojiniki lay dead. This time, one of those stakes had been rammed right into the center of his stomach. Wasn't gouging the stomach the 6th Twilight? Shannon-chan's corpse was face down in front of the dresser, lying in a sea of blood. Jeez. Had she seen her own face at the end, that horribly broken mirror stained with blood? Because she was lying that way, I couldn't see her face, but I could guess even without seeing it. Nearby in the sea of blood she lay in, the demon stake had fallen. Only the 4th Twilight was left. Gouge the head and kill. Maybe my heart was totally worn out and dead. Even though I knew it was wrong, I lifted her head and checked. And I confirmed that my guess had been right on the mark. There was a gaping hole in Shan-chan's head, and the insides were dripping out. Not only that, you could even see inside her. After seeing that, I finally realized I was doing something wrong. I immediately averted my eyes, but by now, it was probably pointless. Hey, Battler-kun. You mustn't touch anything until the police come. What do you think you're doing, touching it? What will you do if our precious evidence on the scene gets disturbed? Rosa got violently mad at me and even tugged at the back of my collar. I tottered limply and fell on my butt, gazing dimly up at the ceiling. Maria. Ooh. With this, even the 8th Twilight is over. What was the 9th Twilight again? On the 9th Twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. I see. After this, the golden witch Beatrice will be revived. What then? On the final 10th Twilight. On the 10th Twilight, at Journey's End, you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. Very soon, the door to the Golden Land will be open. Very soon. I guess we will finish episode 2 today, maybe? I won't see how they could drag this out. The witch shall be revived and none shall be left alive, huh? We're gonna die now? Or does this mean the ceremony of sacrifices is over? And that now, at Journey's End, we'll reach the Golden Land? What is our journey? We spent the whole day trying to find the culprit, spinning our heads as we tried to break out of this situation. And we haven't gotten anywhere. It's like they say, thinking stupid is no better than sleeping. That's right, we spent the whole day burning ourselves up with hatred and paranoia. We were so sure we could only trust the dead, that we came all the way here just to confirm these 3 deaths with their own eyes. But for like this, why? Should we be able to make it to the Golden Land? I gotta check. Shannon first, right? Forehead pierced. She spent her last moments with her beloved. So good was the 5th. The cook was cooked? It was possible they would have ended up as the second Twilight. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, Kenta. Kenza's just chilling. That's right. If we couldn't resolve any of our problems anyway, it would have been so much better if we'd locked ourselves up the whole time without thinking at all. Grandfather is the wisest of us. He's been shut up in his room since yesterday, without any contact with anyone. That was the right decision. Grandfather was the most correct of us all. It's okay, Battler. If you're with me, you'll be okay. The witch is very fickle, and she's a terrifying being who might kill humans partly for fun sometimes. However, if you're with me, you'll be okay. So don't be afraid. Thank you. Even if you're just saying it to console me, I'm glad. After Aunt Rosa finished investigating the corpses, she announced that she'd seal this room again, chase the rest of us out, stole back the master key she'd lent me, and locked the door again. Apparently, George and Iki had been holding the key to Aunt Natsu's room. She also collected that. Wait a sec. She's got all the master keys on the person. Natsu's own key was locked up inside this room. Doesn't that make it another closed room? So what? Is this the 4th closed room? Now that the suspicions surrounding those 3 had been cleared, we returned to the parlor once more. I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. If only the dead are innocent and everyone alive is a wolf, that leaves only me, Aunt Rosa, Maria, and Genji-san. And besides us, there's only Grandfather and that 19th person I guess we've seen no trace of, Beatrice. 13 people have died, and 6 are left. How would a wolves and sheep puzzle with only 6 people end? Even though a puzzle that started with 19 people has been reduced to 6. I can't think of an answer. Why not check on Kenzo? Just go say hi. Be like, hey. I don't know. We returned to the parlor. I was a bit worried that while we were gone, a creepy magic circle or something might have been drawn on the parlor door. Thankfully, we didn't find anything like that. Oh yeah, what happened to those? Thank you, Kenji-san. This is far enough. Please, rest for the day. Certainly. Then, please, excuse me. Hey, Aunt Rosa. Are you saying you'll leave Genji-san all alone in a situation like this? That's right. I do think it's quite dangerous. But in that case, why is he safe? After those 3 headed to Natsu Nisan's room, he was alone the whole time, yet he's safe. It's a wolves and sheep puzzle. Why would a sheep be safe if it was all alone, and therefore in its weakest possible position? Probably because, by coincidence, there weren't any wolves around? Wrong. It's because it wasn't a sheep. Are you saying Genji-san's a wolf? He said he was alone in the kitchen, but that's impossible to prove. The only ones who could have carried Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san's corpses, who could have killed George and the rest, were him and Beatrice, right? Wait, with that argument, anyone... Battler-san, thank you for your concern. I believe trust is won, not with 100 excuses, but with simple faithfulness. Even if I'm not able to gain your trust, I wish to be faithful until the end. Genji-san. Genji was with... Right, it was Genji, Nanjo, and Kumasawa, right? Yeah, in the first one. Then we're decided. If you truly are innocent, the police will prove that for us when they come tomorrow. So until then, we cannot remove you from suspicion. After your long years of service, I find it truly painful to treat you so poorly. But please understand about tonight. And when tomorrow comes, please, let us make up again. Genji-san gave his head a small... Genji-san gave his head a small shake. Today and tomorrow, I will continue to be a servant of the Ushiramiya family. If you need anything, please say so at any time. Then, if you'll excuse me. After hearing all that, there was nothing left to say. Genji-san bowed deeply and left down the hall. Let me answer a text. Okay. Then we entered the room. Even though Aunt Rosa still held all of the master keys herself, she thoroughly checked the inside of the parlor again. She opened the curtains and checked again to make sure the windows were locked. As I watched, how should I say it, felt like it didn't really matter anymore. If I said anything careless, it would turn to another fight. For a while I gazed at her from the corridor, figured I'd waited just about long enough, and entered the parlor behind her. If she doesn't trust anyone but the dead, why doesn't she just go around killing everyone with the gun she's got in her hand? And then in the end, she'll realize that she herself is the wolf. Then she can just blast through the head of the final wolf and close the curtain on this insane murder drama. As I thought that bitterly, I returned to the sofa where I'd been encamped before. Rudely resting both of my feet on the table. When I tried to do that, I found something there and stopped moving my feet. What is this? Right there, almost as though it had been addressed to me, was a Western envelope. It was that envelope from before, with the seal of the one-winged eagle. And it was unopened. What? Whoa, wait. What is this? Who put it in a place like this, and when? Until I went with everyone to check the corpses, I was sitting here the whole time. There wasn't anything there then, and when I returned, it was... here. It's okay. Everything's still locked up securely. This room is safe. I heard Rosa muttering that. It's okay, because it's Kinzo, and he has the super master key, so it doesn't classify as the 5 master key. Wait. We made sure this room was safe when we left it. We checked that the windows were all perfectly locked. Then we locked it up, came back, and the windows were still locked. Then wait, who put this letter here, and how? I opened the letter. 2 pieces of stationery came out. The first page had a magic circle drawn in it, something like blood. If I asked Maria, she'd probably know what it meant. There was writing on the other page. Have you made progress in solving the epitaph? Just a short while, your time will be up in a flash. The night twilight will begin quite soon. There was no mistake. It was a letter from Beatrice. Ooh, Butler. What is that? When we came here just now, it was sitting right here. What happened, Maria? Huh? Butler-kun, that letter. Wait, it was sitting right here. Why? Even though we checked to make sure this room was locked. Why? Maria, come here. Aunt Rosa closed her eyes just a little, and after thinking silently for a moment, told Maria to come. Maria obeyed her mother's words. As she did, something unbelievable happened. Oh shit. Aunt Rosa pointed the barrel of that gun at me. Battler Clune. I've concluded that you are a wolf. What? Why? When I came into the room just now, I saw that there was nothing at all on the table. I know that Maria did not approach that table. We're talking about a short stretch of time. But the only one who claims to have approached the table and found the letter is you. How can you... Wait, that's all screwed up. Why would I put something like this here? Wait, I just found something suspicious and reported it, right? Self-report? Why are you suspecting me? Because only you could have set that letter there. That's right. This is all a charade. Charade? Charade. You pulled an envelope from your pocket, and then acted as though you just found it. To create the illusion that the witch entered a closed room, set down a letter, and left. Dumbass. Are you thinking like that again? Are you going to suspect me? Because of something like that? Cut it out. My dad and everyone else were killed. Why would I take part in the culprit scheme? True. Even if you were offered a large sum of money, I don't want to believe in the existence of the sort of demon who could sell out their own parents. Then again, maybe such a demon does exist. No, that's a bad way to say it. What if you didn't view Rudolph Nissan and Kirie-san as your parents? What? Think about what you're saying. Dad is dad, right? Of course, I'm not related to Kirie-san by blood, but she's like a big sister to me. No way in hell I'll let a comment like that slide, you bastard. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Stop it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Stop saying ooh, ooh. I'm sorry, that was a bad way to put it. True, Ushiramiya Battler-kun may be Rudolph Nissan's child. But are you really that Battler-kun? What the hell are you talking about? If I'm not Battler, who else do I look like? All of us, including Rudolph Nissan, are seeing you for the first time in 6 years. No one could prove that you really are Ushiramiya Battler, right? Maybe you aren't Battler, but someone who snuck in, making a skillful bid to steal the wealth of the Ushiramiya family. Can you clearly prove that you're Ushiramiya Battler? Right here? Right now? Oh shit. Cut it out, damn it! I'm me! Ushiramiya Battler. If we're gonna suspect even things like that, are you really Ushiramiya Rosa? I'm myself, no one else. Yeah, that's right. It's just as you say, you can't trust anyone but corpses and yourself. If you're to go that far, let me make an objection. Georgianiki and the others were found dead and Aunt Natsuhi's room was locked. Georgianiki had the key to that room, right? And by now the only one with the master key is you, Aunt Rosa, right? Aren't you the only one who could have unlocked that room? My theory goes like this. You're in contact with the real culprit. And while I wasn't looking, you lent them one of the 5 master keys. I didn't do something like that. See, there are 5 of them here, right? As if that matters. You could have had them set it in a prearranged spot and collected it, right? And weren't you the one who doubted whether there were really 5 master keys? So, how do you suggest that someone other than yourself placed that letter here? There. Until you find proof someone else did it, you're a wolf. Shut up! Then, why don't you show me some proof? How do you claim the culprit killed Georgianiki and the rest in that closed room? How did they lock it? That's exactly right. Natsuhi's room was exactly the same, just like usual. The door and windows were locked from the inside. There were no frauds or tricks, no means of secret passages nor places in which to hide. Natsuhi's own key was in George's pocket, and the inside of the room was sealed off. Only the 5 master keys were left, and Rosa, was holding all of them. Let me say this, the parlor is the same. The key to the parlor itself is sealed away in the servant room, so unlocking it without a master key is impossible. The definition of the closed room remains the same as always. Come on, now there's only one suspect. Or are you still playing innocent? Wishing me a battler? Shut up! You shut up too! You're the one who should shut up? How do you claim the letter was placed here by anyone other than you? Unless you can prove such a thing happened, you're a wolf. If you can suspect me, then we could suspect you too. So try showing me some proof yourself. And anyway, weren't you the first person to enter this room and start checking the windows, Aunt Rosa? Then you guessed that I'd go back to where I'd been sitting and secretly put the letter there. It's possible for us to suspect that this is a trap of yours, right? Why would I use a trap like that? If I was a wolf, I'd shoot you with this gun without question. That proves nothing. Maybe you chose the roundabout way of setting a clever trap because you couldn't commit murder in front of Maria. All the master keys are in your hands. So what happened, both here and in the last room, was all you're doing, right? If you think you can talk your way out of this, then let's hear your excuses. That's right. You've been suspicious from the start, Aunt Rosa. Why is it that even though 6 adults in the family conference were killed, you're the only exception? Why were you the only one not in the chapel? That chapel. There can only be one reason. You invited Dad and the rest there and killed them. Damn it, damn it. That explains everything, doesn't it? Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. Just let it load. Stop saying things that don't make sense. Oh, man. Ew. Stop it. You mustn't fight. Mama too. Battler too. Stop it. Stop it. It's no one's fault. It's not Battler's or Mama's fault. The witch did all of this. It was done with magic. It's no one's fault. Ooh, ooh. Maria thrust herself in between Aunt Rosa and me as the blood started rising to our heads. I was taken aback by Maria's crying voice and returned to my senses. I had acted shamefully just now. My eyes filled with tears. That's right. It's all the witch's fault, isn't it? All this about keys and tricks and alibis. All of it was stupid. Even though it's the work of the witch, we weren't even able to trust each other as humans. Right, Aunt Rosa? From the beginning, there wasn't a human culprit. It was all the work of the witch. So there's no way you're the culprit. There's no way Maria, Genji-san, or I am either. Why has it come to this? Why am I accidentally pressing 0? I think that's what it is. Why has it come to this? Why am I screaming at Aunt Rosa, who I loved? Why am I having this fight? The kind aunt I love so much. Why? Why does everyone have to suspect each other? I'm not going to suspect my aunt. I'm not going to suspect anyone. It's all the work of the witch. It's all the work of Beatrice. It's all a crime that Beatrice committed with magic. Beatrice, please, show yourself here and confess to us that you did everything. I'm sorry already. I'm sorry we've been suspecting each other like this. So forgive us. Release us. Release us from this hell of suspecting each other until we see each other die. Give me my kind relatives and cousins back. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it all. You definitely exist. It's your victory. Show yourself. Oh, Beatrice! Beatrice! What's gonna happen? No? Okay. I'm just gonna go back to Kenzo. Am I still alive? Apparently, some time ago, Kenzo had fallen into a doze. He searched for his spectacles and looked at the clock. It was 10 p.m. That person's ceremony. Let's see. How far has it progressed? Must have come quite far by this time. Kenzo lifted his heavy body from the chair and approached the portrait of the witch that he had gazed at every day. Beatrice. Very soon. I will have a chance to be reunited with your smile. I care not if I die. If I can just see your smile one more time, I will not regret this life. So, for heaven's sake, let me meet with you one more time. And let me swear my love to you. Let me apologize for my crimes. Whoa. Super with the raid. How's it going? Keep me spook. Also, hey Smithery, how you doing? How was the stream? How was the Call of Duty? Hey brother, what's up? Nothing much. I think we're finishing this episode so that we can move on to episode 3. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of murder, a lot of mystery solving. No idea how it's all done, but you know. But yeah, murder, you say? Very much so. Excellent. Oh damn, who is out here murdering? Well, you see, it's gonna be this witch. But we can't. Like, the whole premise is it's either done by a witch or it's a real human. I'm of the camp that it's a real human, but we don't know. I don't know how it's done. Anybody talking about squishy boobs? Not today, actually. Surprisingly. The witches get stitches, you know, dude. Now I know. Also, Smither, how was the Breath of the Wild stream? I didn't get to catch it, but hope you had fun revisiting. Yeah, no squishy boobs today. No old ladies trying to get you to squish her knockers? No. Old lady actually died, but yeah, she didn't offer us. Good, my dude. More to come, of course. Nice. That's good. Hope you're having fun. Oh damn. Rip old boob lady. So now we just have let's see. We have head honcho, his grandfather. We got his best friend, his servant, Genji. We've got Aunt Rosa, who's like the religious lady. We've got her daughter Maria, who's always creepy, and we got us. So it kind of dwindled. Yeah, it's fun to revisit after 4 years since playing it. Yeah, I need to finish Master Mode. Because I remember the last thing I did was collect all the Korok seeds. And then failing at the DLC. Because it's so difficult. Probably Rosa. She's actually in a cult. Is that what it is? That's what the insignia is about. She manages a design company, though. But, I don't know. Their religion is just a cover-up. So I don't know. It's all a mystery. That designs murders. That's our whole thing. But I won't let you escape. You are mine. From your hair to your toenails, to the dirt under your toenails, you are mine. So this is a grandfather. He's simping for this witch. Every fragment of your flesh is mine. Even the broth of your corpse is mine. I won't let you escape. This time, you won't slip from my hands. I'll make you mine for all eternity. I will never let you escape a second time. I will never let you escape a second time. You just said that. I'm gonna do a little at-home workout. I'm gonna be lurking, of course. Appreciate it, Smithery. Thank you for the lurk. You gotta take Hopper out and want to do this just so I can lay around for a bit. Hope you have fun, my man. Will do, Supa. Thank you again for the raid. Have fun with Hopper. Many pets. Also, many pets to Ori as well. Is that the scene? Oh no. Kinzo howled in rage, then suddenly fell to his knees, as he shook and scraped at the wall. In an instant, he had started sobbing. Ah! That's wrong. I didn't want to say something like this, Beatrice. please, let me see you one more time. Even if you only let me apologize. Ah, Beatrice. I keep thinking of like, oh, Elden Ring. Because of, well, I guess there's some news about Elden Ring today. But I guess, there's a press conference on the 23rd or something. You are beloved, yearned for. I was mistaken. If you would just smile, I wouldn't need anything else. I made a mistake. I made a mistake back then. I did something that cannot be taken back. An atonement. I offer all that remains of my life in order to apologize to you, in order to atone for my crimes. I offered everything. Please, even if it must happen as I die, at least let me apologize. Just once. Beatrice. Go. So I guess he loved Beatrice first, and then he married grandmother, and then that's why Beatrice is pissed off? I don't know. As Kinzo shook and cried, a butterfly appeared out of nowhere behind his small back, like a flake of gold leaf, and softly descended. You fool, Kinzo. Did you think any woman out there would fall for a man's tears? Well, even if it wouldn't make a human woman fall for you, it might do the trick for a woman who is not human. Kinzo, do you remember? That game of chess you played with me, which is still ongoing? Kinzo, so he had suddenly remembered something, approached the chess set. It was as it had been during the game he played with Nanjo until yesterday. After knocking all the pieces off the chessboard, he began to line them up again, one by one. It was a setup for an ongoing game. That's right, like this. I advanced my queen. That was quite a spectacular move. Perhaps it was a little too intense for you. I worried whether you'd abandon your piece or not. Worried for so long. Kinzo waited, with the opposite seat empty. Surely, very soon, his opponent would appear there. And he would be able to restart this game again. You fool, Kinzo. You want to apologize? You want to see my face again? You want to make my smile an eternal thing? Why can't you say a much, much simpler word? Even though that is the sole element of this world. At that time, Kinzo muttered. Was it a prayer? An entreaty? It was probably best to just call it muttering. I love you, Beatrice. They were pure words, like something an innocent child would say, without any evil intent. You really are a fool, Kinzo. If you ever had a chance to do your life over again, know that those words will never cause a woman to fall for you. That's right. Not unless a miracle happens. That's what makes this... At that moment, Kinzo definitely heard a small knock, one with a tempo that differed from those of the servants. Who is it? The woman beyond the door didn't answer. I'm asking who you are. Will you not answer? The woman beyond the door didn't answer. Could it be? Oh, could it be? Beatrice? Beatrice! Beatrice! The woman beyond the door answered. On the ninth twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. Oh boy. So we gotta end it there, actually. I have to enter an email. But most likely, we'll finish this tomorrow. Damn. Yeah, I have to go. What time did it say? Shit, I didn't see. That's surely not midnight yet. Okay. That's unfortunate. I gotta go. Let's save. And then we'll be back tomorrow. Which is fine. 12:35. Okay. But yeah, I guess let's go back to the touch screen. Kenzo intrigues me. I'm curious about him. But yeah. Let's throw this party elsewhere. Let's go say hi to Quinn. He's currently streaming some Final Fantasy XIV, I believe. So we'll go say hi. But yeah. This is fun. It's a good time. Oh, mute that real quick. I don't know. I mean, thinking back, in Chapter 1, Natsuhi just died. And then the remaining characters just kind of just ended. So I don't know how it's gonna play out here, but... Oh, did it pause? Okay. But yeah. Thank you again to Super for the raid. I guess we'll be back tomorrow? Yeah, probably tomorrow. I don't think I'll be returning today. I wanted to finish it, but yeah, that's fine. Anyways, I think that's it, yeah. Thanks again to Super. Catch you all later, have a good one. Bye!